no reservation to hold my place. Just you and me together in the shade. All I'll ever need starts with you and me. Be my sunshine in the morning. Be my
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, government parliamentary leaders doubled down on their concerns regarding the appointment of Ranif Lawrence as the Integrity Commission's acting director of corruption prosecution.
And they describe as surprising the commission chairman's call for evidence to probe reports that at least 2 former senior officials were pressured to act inappropriately.
Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate rose slightly in March to 5%.
Carnival 2024 generated over $4 billion in direct economic impact.
Carnival in Jamaica generated a direct economic impact of 4.42 billion Jamaican dollars.
Dr. Garfield James says he'll be working with MP Moreland Wilson to ensure the JLP retains the Western Westmoreland seat.
In news from the rest of the world, first lawsuit filed over the deadly nightclub roof collapse in the Dominican Republic.
Trump threatens Harvard's tax-exempt status after freezing $2 billion funding.
In headline sports, Jamaica makes losing start to regional under-15 cricket campaign.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the Jamaica Labour Party has confirmed that it will refer Councillor Dr. Garfield James to its selection committee and central executive as the party's candidate in waiting for Western Westmoreland. He'll join us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to the Prime Minister's declaration that the push towards republicanism has stalled? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
From 7 to 8, it's Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight we'll be looking at the Annotto plant.
And at 8, it's Prescription for Life with Dr. Andre MacDonald.
And at 9 p.m., it's Affairs of the Heart with Rodney Campbell. Tonight's topic, sensitive or tough? What makes the ideal man? All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This is Tuesday afternoon. It's Tuesday, April 15, 2025.
This hour is brought to you by the new KFC Saucy Wings. Hot and spicy wings tossed in mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Government parliamentary leaders Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith and Edmund Bartlett have doubled down on their concerns regarding the appointment of Ranif Lawrence as acting director of corruption prosecution at the Integrity Commission. Their latest concerns come in a second letter sent to the chairman of the commission, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick. The letter is also copied to Governor General Sir Patrick Allen. It's the latest salvo in the government's escalating objection to the appointment of the close friend of PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell to a sensitive post within the commission. Robianne Williams reports.
Edmund Bartlett and Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, in their latest letter, told retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick that they don't wish to engage in an unending series of responses and counter-responses. But they maintain that they're of the view that the matters raised in her letter which came following their initial expression of concern, are of sufficient public interest to warrant further comment. The government parliamentary leaders wrote that regarding the issue of Ranif Lawrence, his close friendship with the PNP General Secretary and potential conflict of interest, they very humbly and respectfully remind the Integrity Commission chairman of the decision of former Chief Justice Lord Hewitt in R versus Sussex Justices. The 1924 case is known as the authority on the principle of justice not only needing to be done, but also to be seen to be done. Mr. Bartlett and Senator Johnson Smith noted that in that case, even the absence of direct evidence and or confirmation of interference, circumstances where justice did not appear to be done were fatal to a judicial decision being upheld. The government parliamentary leaders wrote that so particularly powerful is the quasi-judicial role in which Mr. Lawrence now acts, they maintain their view that his appointment in the context of his publicly acknowledged close and 20-year friendship with the strenuously adversarial PNP General Secretary at minimum risks opening rulings of the Commission to unnecessary suspicion. Bartlett and Johnson Smith told Justice Lawrence Beswick that they hope both she and the Commission might, on reflection, elect to be guided by Lord Hewitt's wise postulation concerning the danger of not mitigating against circumstances which could support the suspicion of justice not appearing to be done. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Edmund Bartlett and Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith are describing as surprising the Integrity Commission chairman's call for evidence in order to trigger an inquiry into reports that at least 2 former senior officials at the commission had come under undue pressure from colleagues to act inappropriately. According to the government parliamentary leaders, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick might agree that the provision of proof in advance has never been the acceptable standard when applied to the start of an investigation by a body such as the Integrity Commission. They say this is especially so where an inquiry is made regarding damning allegations in the public space. The lawmakers, in their latest letter to Justice Lawrence Beswick, concluded that they are hopeful that upon further careful consideration, the Integrity Commission chairman might find that her making inquiries of relevant individuals is a process which could possibly bring her and the commission closer to determining the truth. Mr. Bartlett and Mrs. Johnson-Smith said such an approach, if adopted by the Integrity Commission chairman, is not only in the interest of ensuring public trust and confidence in the commission, but is also within her lawful authority.
The country's point-to-point inflation rate rose slightly in the month of March. Data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin suggests point-to-point inflation for the period was 5%. This is up from 4.4% the month before. This was influenced mainly by the point-to-point inflation rate for the division's food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, and restaurants and accommodation services. It's the first increase in the last 3 months. It also represents the highest point-to-point inflation in the last 6 months. Despite the increase, the rate remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. The BOJ in recent months has halted its favorable monetary policy of repeatedly lowering interest rates due to volatility in global trade. It's uncertain how the central bank will react if inflation again trends upwards. Jamaica Carnival 2024 generated over $4 billion in direct economic impact. Those are the findings of a study commissioned by the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett presented the findings during a press conference on Tuesday at the office of the Tourism Product Development Company in New Kingston. Mahiri Stewart has the details.
The study, conducted by research fellow at the Center for Leadership and Governance at the University of the West Indies, Mona, Dr. Michael Marshall, revealed that Jamaica's 2024 staging of Carnival benefited the country in more ways than one. Edmund Bartlett revealed that Jamaica Carnival 2024 generated over $95 billion in direct and indirect impact.
The findings before us tells an extraordinary story of growth and impact. In 2024, Carnival in Jamaica generated a direct economic impact of 4.42 billion Jamaican dollars. This represents an impressive 44.2% increase since 2019, despite the challenges we faced during the pandemic year. And I think that's a very important point to consider. When we factor in the multiplier effect, that is the indirect and induced impact, Carnival's total economic contribution to Jamaica in 2024 reached an astounding 95.4 billion Jamaican in its total output.
The tourism minister also noted that Jamaica Carnival 2024 supported well over 100,000 jobs.
For every single dollar invested in Carnival in Jamaica, our economy sees $130. Perhaps most importantly, Carnival creates jobs and opportunities for our people. In 2024, our Carnival bands directly employed 55 full-time staff and engaged over 1,750 part-time workers. Our economic analysis indicates that through direct, indirect, and induced effects, Carnival in Jamaica supported approximately 115,247 full-time equivalent jobs throughout our economy in 2024.
Minister Bartlett added that over 5,000 Carnival enthusiasts arrived in Jamaica for the event last year, spending more than $12 million in the country.
Carnival has also proven to be a powerful magnet for visitors to our shores. In 2024, we welcomed 5,400 international visitors who came specifically for Carnival. These visitors spend an average of $3,209 per person, injecting some $12.5 million directly. What's particularly encouraging here is that 54.5% of our international Carnival patrons in 2024 were first-time attendees. So we are seeing that roughly 45% are repeat, and that is in line with the repeat business that we have for tourism in Jamaica.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
The JLP's candidate in waiting for Western Westmoreland, Dr. Garfield James, says he'll be working with the incumbent Member of Parliament, Moreland Wilson, to ensure the party retains the seat.
The fact is that the Member of Parliament has demonstrated that he's willing to work to ensure that the party's interests remain priority. So the process of continuing building capacity among the supporters will be the push that we do for the near future to ensure that we can retain the seat. Together with Member of Parliament and the work that he has started, the work that he's continuing to do, we will see how best we can revise aspects of the manifesto to ensure that the needs of constituents are met as best as possible.
Dr. James, who's currently councillor for the Sheffield Division, defeated MP Wilson in an internal selection exercise on Sunday. The JLP didn't release the final tally score following Sunday's exercise, but it's understood he won by only 4 votes. The move has left some Labourites upset. A handful of supporters gathered outside the constituency office on Tuesday to express their disapproval of Dr. James. The placard-bearing protesters claimed they'll withhold their votes unless MP Wilson is reinstated as candidate. Dr. James says he's willing and ready to unite with disgruntled supporters in the constituency.
There are some persons who are hurting in the sense that they did not get their choice, but it's a process of healing, and we are willing and ready to continue that process to ensure that at the end of the day it is one team. And I have no doubt that those protesters will at some point recognize the importance of the team effort that will be required. We all know that politics is not static in terms of representation, and at certain times changes must come. It might take some time for everyone to embrace it, but at the end of the day, the party's interests will always win.
Dr. Garfield James, a winner of Sunday's selection contest in Western Westmoreland, he'll be contesting the PNP's Ian Hales for the seat. You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
celebrates 26 years with IQ Optical. Enjoy 26% off your prescription eyewear and sunglasses this month only. Book your appointment or take your prescription to IQ Optical in New Kingston, Manor Park, or Drexel. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is
14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 in Montego Bay.
Something good just got better. You now have more time to benefit from the NWC's Debt Amnesty Package, which has been extended for another 2 months. So, from now until May 31, find out if you qualify for a benefit under the amnesty. Don't delay. Let's hear from you today. Call 888-225-5692 or visit a commercial office. The NWC Debt Amnesty, a part of our bucket full of goodies.
The future is here. Meet your new best friend, the Samsung Galaxy S25. Unlock your true potential with this powerful but sleek AI companion. The S25 has exciting features such as the enhanced AI and camera. Let's transform the future together. Ask about our trade-in, smart payment, and insurance protection plans. Get yours today at select digital stores, Crossroads, Tropical Plaza, Spanish Town, downtown, and also available at the SMS store, 12 Ruth Venner Road, Kingston 10. SMS Group is your gateway to technology.
Continuing the news, Member of Parliament for Eastern Westmoreland Daniel Lawrence says work is actively taking place to address water challenges being faced by some residents in the area for over 10 years. Mr. Lawrence was speaking on Cliff Hughes Online with Tyrone Reid on Tuesday.
Pertaining to Petersville water, the area has been without water for about 7 years before I became Member of Parliament. And 2 weeks after I achieved the win and start working, I start that as one of my projects. And I've been lobbying since then, and I've gone through the stages of drilling to find the water that previously other person said was not there, and no water will come back to Petersville. But we drill, we find the water, we pass through that phase in terms of drilling. We now complete the drilling of the well and waiting now for the final phase, which is the distribution phase.
The call comes as residents voice their discontent at the lack of water supply in the constituency. One resident noted that several communities have not had a consistent supply of water in their pipes for the past 12 years. He says residents have had to resort to buying water from trucks, which has placed a burden on their pockets. In response, Mr. Lawrence called on his constituents to exercise patience.
We completed the well sometime last year, and now the procurement is taking place for the pump and the distribution line. So we know the frustration, we understand. Without water for roughly about 12 years now, it is not really easy. The residents have been buying water, and they are not rich, so we know it's really hard. But we are still asking for some more patience. I am doing the work. I am lobbying for them, and, this whole water project doesn't really happen overnight. And we are in the final stage now. So we are just asking for some more patience.
Daniel Lawrence, Member of Parliament for Eastern Westmoreland.
Director of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, Movetta Monroe, is calling for the reinstatement of regional officers to help address understaffing. Speaking at Tuesday's meeting of the CDF committee, Ms. Monroe says there are only 7 project managers across all 63 constituencies.
We're not able to retain, as I've said that in the past, because of the compensation to project officers and the workload. I do hope that we can get a redress by using this medium. We would have tried before, letters would have been sent out. I have asked members of parliament on both sides to lobby for the CDF since we deal intimately with members of parliament. However, to date, nothing has been done.
Currently, a single project manager for the CDF must juggle the requests of approximately 9 constituencies. Ms. Monroe says the position of regional manager, which previously assisted with this work, was abolished without explanation by the government. She's urging for them to be replaced or the original position reinstated.
And it's not about the complement of project officers, it's about outfitting the unit, properly resourcing it with the human capacity so that we're not able only to man constituencies, but in terms of the projects to monitor and evaluate properly. We need more than project officers. We actually need regional managers. That was a tier in the structure before. It was removed for whatever purposes, I don't know. And I'm just looking forward to a solution. I don't need to know why it was removed. I deem it fit for it to be replaced now or to be reinstituted back on the structure.
Movetta Monroe, Director of the Constituency Development Fund.
Prominent neurosurgeon and medical chief of staff at the University Hospital of the West Indies, Dr. Carl Bruce, appeared in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday to answer charges stemming from an alleged altercation with a fellow consultant on hospital grounds. Dr. Bruce is charged with malicious destruction of property and assault at common law. The incident reportedly took place on January 31, 2007 in the Operation Theatre's planning room. The complainant, Dr. Roger Hunter, alleges he was preparing for surgery when Dr. Bruce entered, shouted at him to leave, and physically confronted him. Dr. Hunter also claims that Dr. Bruce threatened to spit in his face before leaving the room. But one of Dr. Bruce's attorneys, King's Counsel Tom Tavares Finson, says his client maintains his innocence.
It is alleged that during an altercation, Mr. Bruce pushed him and that his necktie, I think, was torn or his shirt was torn. And that is 2007. But of course, we deny the allegations absolutely. And the person concerned is no longer employed to the university and, in fact, is no longer permitted to practice medicine. So we are prepared to defend the charges and to continue to uphold the integrity of Dr. Carl Bruce, someone who is known to many, many persons who have attended the University Hospital in one capacity or another.
KC Tom Tavares Finson. Dr. Bruce is also being represented by attorney Donovan Williams. According to Dr. Hunter, he initially chose not to report the incident, hoping it would be resolved internally. But he formally filed a complaint in November 2024 after returning to the island. A trial date has been set for September 29, following Dr. Hunter's refusal to proceed with mediation. Both parties have been warned against commenting publicly or posting about the case on social media.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute. The first known lawsuit has been filed against the owners of the nightclub whose roof collapsed and killed 231 people in the Dominican Republic. The family of one victim has sued the nightclub owner and his mother, along with the Dominican government and the Santo Domingo mayor's office. The lawsuit filed Monday is seeking unspecified damages from all and a criminal conviction for involuntary manslaughter against the owners. On Monday, President Luis Abinader acknowledged there is no government agency responsible for supervising the construction of private businesses like the nightclub. But he says the government is working on a bill to correct that. It's not clear what caused the roof to collapse early on April 8. Authorities have launched an investigation and created a technical team with local and international experts.
U.S. President Donald Trump has called for Harvard University to lose a valuable tax break. The call comes hours after his administration announced it's freezing more than $2 billion in federal funds for the elite institution. The White House has demanded the oldest university in the U.S. make changes to its hiring, admission, and teaching practices. It says the changes will help fight anti-Semitism on campus. Since returning to office, Trump has pushed to reshape top universities by threatening to withhold federal funds that are mostly designated for research. Harvard became the first major U.S. university to reject his administration's demands, accusing the White House of trying to control its community. But Trump threatened to go beyond withholding the federal funds and targeted Harvard tax Harvard's tax-exempt status. Losing the exemption could cost Harvard millions of dollars each year.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, government parliamentary leaders double down on their concerns regarding the appointment of Ranif Lawrence as the Integrity Commission's acting director of corruption prosecution.
And Edmund Bartlett and Kamina Johnson-Smith describe as surprising the IC chairman's call for evidence to probe reports that at least 2 former senior officials were pressured to act inappropriately.
Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate rose slightly in March to 5%.
Carnival 2024 generated over $4 billion in direct economic impact.
I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
That hour was brought to you by the new KFC Saucy Wings. Hot and spicy wings, tossed in
Mom, how are you managing?
I miss your father, but I have peace of mind knowing he had creditor protection.
What's that?
It's a very good plan from Scotiabank. It pays off our mortgage, auto loans, even his credit card bills so we don't inherit his debt.
Dad really loved us.
Yes, he did.
Don't leave your loved ones alone. Get creditor protection from Scotiabank. Visit us at jm.scotiabank.com today.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Good afternoon with your sports report. I'm Alric Swaby. We both things off with some football as Jamaica made a losing start to their campaign in the West Indies Rising Star Under-15 Cricket Championships, going down by 9 wickets to champions Barbados at Liberty Sports Club in Antigua on Tuesday. The young Jamaican crashed to 77 all out in 24.5 overs, with 3 players getting into double figures, including wicketkeeper Luane Price, who top scored with 22. Asher Branford bagged 4 wickets for Barbados, while Joshua Thompson and Jahidi Hines claimed 3 apiece. The Bajans then raced to 78 for 1 in 18 overs to complete the victory. Jamaica's next game will be against Guyana on Thursday at the Antigua Recreation Ground. In other games on today, the Windward Islands 110 for 2 beat the Leeward Islands 109 all out by 8 wickets at Coolidge Cricket Ground, while Guyana 171 for 4 beat Trinidad and Tobago 168 all out by 6 wickets. Excelsior High School batsman Justin Adlam believed the Mountain View-based institution could be on their way to something special this season. Excelsior beat Kingston College by 76 runs on Monday in the final of the ISA First Global Bank Schoolboy T20 Cricket Urban Era competition. It was their second title of the season, having already secured the Grace Shield. They can win an unprecedented 4 titles with the All-Ireland Spalding Cup playoff against Tets and the ISA Super 8 T20 League still to come. Adlam, who scored a half-century in the final against Kingston College, is looking forward to the rest of the season.
I think we have a fairly good chance. We're going into the competition with confidence, hoping to bring it home God's will. But yeah, we're just going with confidence and going to play hard cricket. So if we play hard cricket, I think we can carry it.
Adlam says the final against Casey really tested the team.
I think the team had a fairly good performance. The openers didn't really come off, but the middle order really catched up. Myself, I played a fantastic innings. I think trust God and thing and do what I have to do.
Justin Adlam. And finally, in football, Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain punched their ticket to the semi-finals of the European Champions League following 2 group and second-leg quarter-finals ties on Tuesday. Shehu Garassi scored a hat-trick as German outfit Borussia Dortmund beat Barcelona 3-1, but the Catalan club advanced 5-3 on aggregate after their 4-0 first-leg win at home.
Girassi, 1 goal in his last 7 matches. He's lost his form. This will do him the world of good. This will do the whole of Dortmund the world of good. How good was that? Dortmund lead on the night. It's a decent cross to the far post, headed back by Benzabani and in. Girassi again at a miserable first leg, a miserable start to this, but he has his second, and they have half the deficit now. 2-0 to Dortmund on the night.
So a lot of work still to do. Fermin Lopez with Lewandowski in the box. Oh, it's an own goal. Oh, and Girassi's there again. A hat-trick. 15 minutes to go. And the deficit is reduced to 2.
The French champions PSG also suffered defeat. They lost 3-2 to Aston Villa at Villa Park, but went through 5-4 on aggregate.
Dembele is waiting in the centre. Martinez got to it, but Hakimi has scored. Ambush, 11 minutes gone, and Paris Saint-Germain stretch their lead. Villa are outnumbered here. This is Dembele. Hakimi wants the ball on into the box. Instead, it's squared for Nuno Mendes, and both fullbacks have scored. And here's Tielemans, and it's good in Pacho, and Aston Villa have got one back. Make good progress here, John McGinn. Pick that out. Villa on terms on the night. Marcus Rashford, cut back for Konsa. Aston Villa have scored twice in no time at all. They lead on the night. They are within 1 on aggregate.
The last 2 semi-finalists will be known on Wednesday when Arsenal takes a 3-0 lead to Spain to face champions Real Madrid, while Bayern Munich are in Italy looking to overturn a 2-1 deficit against Inter Milan. I'm Alric Swiby, and that's your sports.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet you so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
At Kia, driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
What makes a burrito bun so attractive?
We have a history of strong financial performance and growth, demonstrating resilience.
Our leverage remains low relative to our peers.
The bond is available in both Jamaican and US dollars, ranging from tenures between 2 to 10 years at attractive interest rates. Plus, it's expected to be listed, which will enhance liquidity for all investors.
Burrito bonds are burrito strong. Download our prospectus, call a burrito advisor, and invest today.
Stop buying expensive toner cartridges. Global Ink is now selling new factory direct generic toners. Remove factory seals, install and print. Engineered to work first time, every time. Certified for use in HB and Brother printers. Worry-free, affordable printing for your peace of mind. Money saved is money earned. We deliver island-wide. 754-7444 or 1-888-NEED-INK. Never run out of toner again. Global Ink.
The benefits of the NWC debt amnesty will continue to flow for another 2 months. Oh yes, from now until May 31, you may qualify for debt write-offs. Also, if your residential account has been disconnected for 6 months or more, you may qualify. Pensioners, past beneficiaries, and those with commercial accounts may also qualify. So, what are you waiting for? Dial 888-225-5692 or visit a commercial office today to find out if you qualify. The NWC debt amnesty, a part of our bucket full of goodies.
Tune in to Boy Things After Dark from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a sizzling outside broadcast live from Bird Shack Fried Chicken on 118 Red Hills Road on April 16, 2025. Follow me, Kareem Boy Things Weathers, to Bird Shack for their famous crispy fried chicken. We are bringing the vibes and our belly to Bird Shack to satisfy our hunger. Expect live music, giveaways, and more. Visit Bird Shack Fried Chicken on April 16 and join me on Boy Things After Dark. Tell us your favorite meal from Bird Shack Fried Chicken and why. So tune in on Boy Things After Dark, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on April 16. Check us out at Bird Shack Fried Chicken on 118 Red Hills Road. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken Jamaica.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Nationwide at 5. My name is Sanjay Lewis and my co-host this afternoon is Siobhan Campbell. And Siobhan, just before we go to what we have planned for the cover story, we brought it in our newscast where government parliamentary leaders, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith and Edmund Bartlett, they have doubled down on their concerns regarding the appointment of Renif Lawrence as acting director of corruption prosecution at the Integrity Commission. And their latest concerns come in a second letter sent to the chairman of the commission, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick. And the letter is also copied to the Governor General, Sir Patrick Allen. And it's the latest salvo, listeners, in the government's escalating objection to the appointment of the close friend of the PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, to a sensitive post within the commission. And Siobhan, you have that letter with you this afternoon.
That's correct, Sanjay. It is to the Honourable Mrs. Carol Lawrence Beswick, Chairman of the Integrity Commission, dated April 15th, 2025. It says, Madam Chair, we acknowledge receipt of your correspondence of April 14, 2025. Although we are certain that neither of us wishes to embark on an unending series of responses and counter-responses on this side, we are of the view that the matters raised are of sufficient public interest to require a response to yours. It says, 1. Regarding the issue of the acting corruption prosecution director, Mr. Renif Lawrence, his close relationship with PNP General Secretary and potential conflict of interest, we very humbly and respectfully remind of the sage decision of former Chief Justice Lord Hewitt in R.V. Sussex Justices 1924, to which is attributed the fundamental principle of justice not only needing to be done, but to be seen to be done. It says, in that case, even in the absence of direct evidence and or confirmation of interference, circumstances where justice did not appear to be done were fatal to a judicial decision being upheld. So, particularly powerful is the quasi-judicial role in which Mr. Lawrence now acts. We maintain our view that his appointment to act or otherwise in the context of his publicly acknowledged close and 20-year friendship with the strenuously adversarial PNP General Secretary at minimum risks opening rules by the Commission up to unnecessary suspicion. Risks opening rulings by the Commission up to unnecessary suspicion. It says, to further the context of the publicly held concerns also outlined in our letter of April 11, 2025, strengthen the cause for concern. We hope that your good self and indeed the Commission might, on reflection in respect of this matter, elect to be guided by Lord Hewitt's wise postulation concerning the danger of not mitigating against circumstances which could support the suspicion of interference and or justice not appearing to be done. Also, secondly, it says your response to a request for a probe into the media reports regarding alleged improper and or undue interference which reportedly contributed to the departure of 2 former senior staffers of the Integrity Commission is noted, but not without some surprise, as you might agree, that the provision of proof in advance has never been the acceptable standard applied to the commencement of an investigation by a body such as the Integrity Commission, where an inquiry is made regarding damning allegations in the public space. The letter ends by saying, we are hopeful that upon further careful consideration, you might find that making inquiries of relevant individuals is a process which could possibly bring you and the Commission closer to determining the truth in respect of both matters, and that such an approach is not only in the interest of ensuring public trust and confidence in the Commission, but is also within your lawful authority. It says, again, Madam Chair, please accept the assurance of our highest consideration. And it is signed by both Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Leader of Government Business in the House of Representatives, and Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, Leader of Government Business in the Senate.
Yeah, will be interesting, Siobhan, as we'll see if there will be a response from the Integrity Commission. But nonetheless, we have to move on to what we had originally planned for our cover story, and that is the Jamaica Labour Party has confirmed that it will refer Councillor Dr. Garfield James to its selection committee and central executive as the party's candidate in waiting for Western Westmoreland. This follows Sunday's internal selection exercise in which Dr. James secured the majority of votes in a contest against the sitting Member of Parliament, Moreland Wilson.
It's understood Dr. James got home by only 4 votes, listeners, and in a statement on Monday, GLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang thanked both Dr. James and MP Moreland Wilson for their engagement in the democratic process. Dr. Chang also expressed appreciation to the workers and delegates who turned out for the vote. The candidate selection process involved a constituency audit, polling, consultations, and a selection exercise.
Dr. James is among 2 former People's National Party councillors who joined the JLP after resigning in protest against the PNP's selection of Ian Hales as caretaker for the constituency. In the 2020 general election, MP Wilson secured 6,148 votes, defeating then PNP candidate Wickham McNeil, who polled 5,095 votes. The party is now expected to formally ratify Dr. James' candidacy through its central executive in the coming weeks ahead of the next general election.
In the meantime, listeners, the move to refer Dr. James to be the standard bearer has left some supporters of the incumbent MP upset. The group gathered outside the constituency office Tuesday morning, chanting and displaying placards. Several of them were clad in green t-shirts bearing a photo of Wilson. At least one woman in the group was clad in an orange shirt and was seen dancing. The placards read, "No Moreland, no vote, Moreland for Westmoreland, no James, and one Moreland." The protesters chanted, "No Moreland, no vote."
Well, Dr. James now joins us, and we must tell our team, or those listening, I beg your pardon, that our news center has placed several calls to Mr. Wilson, and messages to him have also gone unanswered. Good afternoon, Dr. James.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, as always. It was a very close race, and let me first congratulate you on winning. And since the results, we have seen protests from supporters of the sitting MP. Have you contacted Mr. Wilson or his supporters to begin this process of reconciliation?
Well, first, I want to say good afternoon to you and your listeners. I'm happy to be utilizing this opportunity to speak. The fact is, I want to commend the Member of Parliament, Moreland Wilson, for running a very spirited campaign. To date, he has ensured that he aligned himself with the guidelines that were provided to guide the process in terms of the selection. The fact is that in any process where democracy is alive and well, which requires a selection, there will be a winner and a loser. But at the end of the day, ultimately the party wins because the delegates and the workers have spoken. The fact is that all of us and the Member of Parliament has indicated that will at some point ensure that we fall in line to be one team, to ensure that it is the party's interest that is placed first, because the real objective here is to ensure that we position ourselves in terms of the organization of the party and the work that is left to be done, and ensure that we are able to win the Western Westmoreland seat for the Jamaica Labour Party.
Please stay with us, Mr. Dr. James. We are up on a break and then we can come back to you.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 15 minutes to 6.
The temperature brought to you by Birdjack Fried Chicken.
Burrata! Buy a 3-piece hat-trick meal and get an extra piece free for a limited time only is...
It's 26 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, and 23 out west in Montego Bay.
I saw something suspicious at work the other day and decided to speak out. I was afraid at first, but did it because corruption must stop. They never too liked the idea and even threatened to fire me. But I believe it's my duty to speak out against these things. Be a whistleblower and help eliminate corruption. Call the Integrity Commission at 876-968-6227 or email cpd@integrity.gov.jm.
A message from the Integrity Commission, United Against Corruption.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Nationwide at 5. We are inside the cover story and we are speaking with the candidate in waiting for the Jamaica Labour Party for Western Westmoreland, Dr. Garfield James. And just before the break, Dr. James, I was trying to understand if you have reached out to the sitting MP, Moreland Wilson, and his key supporters to start a process of reconciliation. Dr. James?
It looks
Dr.
like
James?
we lost
Dr.
James. So we'll have to wait for him to come back. But I understand. Oh, okay. So, Sanjay, it is interesting. The 4 votes separated the two gentlemen in that contest. And while a victory is a victory at the end of the day, I do see where you're going to most likely run into issues without that reconciliation when you have such a narrow margin splitting them apart. So at this point in time, the GLP is going to need to do some work on the ground. I would hope that the General Secretary and the party leader will take note of the situation and make their own interventions to see what they can do to bring all together in that constituency.
Especially in a constituency, Siobhan, of Western Westmoreland, where, based on my checks, the last time, prior to Moreland Wilson winning this seat, the last time the JLP had that seat was in the 1980 general election. Now, we're not counting the 1983 snap elections because the PNP did not contest. But I gather we have Dr. James back with us. Dr. James, I'm trying to understand from you if you have reached out to Morland Wilson and his key supporters since Sunday to start a process of reconciliation, considering that you only won by 4 votes.
The party's guidelines for the election was to secure simple majority, which means 50% plus 1.
Yes.
Having achieved that objective, which was the guideline, the fact is that a declaration was made, and in any contest, obviously there will be individuals who would be experiencing some form of disappointment.
I hear you, Dr. James, but with respect here, you said that earlier, but I'm just trying to get a simple understanding. Have you reached out to Morland Wilson and his key supporters to start a process of reconciliation, considering that it was such a narrow victory?
Yes, that process of reaching out for reconciliation have been started. Mm-hmm. A series of activities have been planned to actually facilitate an opportunity for all members of the team to come together and to generate greater bonding. You will be actually hearing on your listeners about those planned activities in short order, as those activities will begin as early as this weekend.
And did you specifically speak to Mr. Wilson after the passing of this contest?
I have made attempts to do so, but I have been informed that he will be able to speak to me at a later date, as he had other pressing matters addressing. So the fact is the line of communication is open, and I want to use this opportunity to remind the constituents of Western Westmoreland that Morland Wilson is still the Member of Parliament, will remain the Member of Parliament until such a time. However, as a Member of Parliament, he's actually the team leader of the team, and we will be working together to ensure that we bring the team together in every way to ensure that we are positioned in a strong way to ensure we can win the upcoming election.
And tell me, Dr. James, in that challenge to Mr. Wilson for the right to become the prospective candidate going into the next general elections, what were your concerns in terms of the party's ability to win under Mr. Wilson?
For me, there were no particular concerns. The fact is that representation requires hard work, dedication, and it requires a comprehensive reach. And where there is the school of thought that politics is not static, hence the democratic process was initiated, and other members of the team felt that there were concerns that could not go unanswered in the result of a contest. Being a member of the team and being selected, it is only fitting that we now move in one direction as a team, because the ultimate objective is to ensure that Western Westmoreland remains with the Jamaica Labour Party.
Which is important, Dr. James, for any political party that is looking towards the next general election. However, we have a voice note from Morland Wilson. We're going to play that voice note, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
This is Morland Wilson, MP for Westmoreland Western. It has been brought to my attention that my opponent is on national radio making statements that we have had discussions. I want to categorically state that this is a lie, and this is a continuation of the lies that has been spread throughout the campaign. And because of the continuation of these lies, I have no intention of having any discussion with this person.
Dr. James?
So you hear that, Dr. James?
Did you at any point indicate to any media house that you have reached out and spoken to Morland Wilson?
Yes, I have done so, and I don't want to obviously there's a process of healing that needs to take place.
No. That's
No,
important.
but Dr.
But
James,
hold on,
outright
Dr. James.
accused you of
Yes, of
quite
lying.
a strong allegation there.
So you are indicating, Dr. James, that you did state on public radio that you reached out to Morland Wilson and spoke with him. You're now saying that's not so. So did you lie?
No, I'm not saying that's not so. It's a fact that we have had dialogue. However, you know, I don't want to comment based on that voice note if it's coming from him, because obviously there might have been some change in terms of certain responses.
No, but you told me earlier when I asked you that you have tried reaching out to Morland Wilson and you were unable to speak with him. So I'm a little bit confused. Did you or did you not have any conversation with Morland Wilson?
Yeah, but at what point? After the elections? Or
yes, it would be after the election. That was
we
the specific
specifically
question that
asked
we asked.
after the elections, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I did have I did have a short conversation with him.
But he just said that that's not so, Dr. James. He just said in that voice note that you have lied. There was no conversation, but you are now saying that you had conversations with him?
I've said that, and I will repeat myself. He has made a statement. I've heard a voice note being played. So I would seek clarity from him to try and understand why that was stated as it was.
So you're now saying that Morland Wilson is lying?
Let me ask.
Let me ask.
Dana, when specifically did you receive this voice note? How present is it?
And based on the sounding of the voice note, I will seek to clarify such.
So, Dr. James, this voice note was sent by Mr. Wilson at 5:42 when this program started.
Repeat that for me, please.
This voice note was sent at 5:42 when this program started from Mr. Wilson himself. So I don't know if you can suggest it's a matter of miscommunication over some period.
I will seek clarity from him as it relates to that, but I will not be doing that on national radio.
But very well, I will accept that you don't want to do that kind of air those kind of dirty laundry on area. But don't you believe, based on the statement by Mr. Wilson, that it is going to be a very long road ahead in terms of repairing the clear distrust and bitterness between the two camps?
Reconciliation is a must. The party's interest must come first, will come first, and whatever it takes, we will find the means and ways of mending the gaps to ensure that we are one team going forward in the next general election.
I want to be clear from you, Dr. James. Can you confirm that you actually had conversations with Morland Wilson after that race within the constituency? I just want to hear from you very clearly.
No, I think I've addressed that already.
No, you haven't, because there seems to be some confusion. So I want to hear from you clearly. Have you spoken to Morland Wilson?
For that question, I will seek clarity based on what was played before I respond any further on that matter.
Oh, very well. So let's look at the constituency now, because in the 2020 general election, MP Wilson secured 6,148 votes and he defeated Wickham McNeil. Yeah. But Western Westmoreland is a very tough constituency. And the last time prior to Morland Wilson winning that constituency was in the 1980 general election. How confident you are of victory, considering now that the constituency clearly is divided among the Laborites, and you are heading into a general election which is constitutionally due by September? Will you be able to reunite those within the constituency, the Laborites, to ensure that you win that constituency whenever the election is called?
It's a big responsibility. It can only be done by the team effort, and the necessary organizational structure and support within the constituency is here. What we will be doing is building out the respective areas of concern. Where we have identified weaknesses, we'll ensure that we strengthen those. We have enough assets, human resource, and enough votes within the space to ensure that we can win the next election.
Are you confident of victory?
There's no doubt that there are challenges, and that is political representation. But the good thing is that we are cognizant of the challenges, and we are already formulating the necessary strategies and recommendations that have been made to implement them to ensure that we put the machinery in place to win.
And quickly, because I know we're running out of time, but you were once a PNP councillor and later switched to the JLP. What would you say to your critics who they're now questioning your loyalty to the JLP?
My loyalty is unquestioned. The fact is that having switched in a short time, I was able to win the local government elections. I didn't win it doing it alone. It was a team effort, and it is the constituents who are the real power breakers in this. And the same constituents remain within the constituency. And I have no doubt that I have demonstrated without any uncertainty that I am who I am and will remain so. So therefore, the real question is, how do we go about providing greater representation for the people? And that is really the direction I want to take any conversation going forward as it relates to Westmoreland.
And what about of your prospective challenger, Mr. Hales? I understand he's made quite a few inroads in terms of polling in that constituency.
At this point, well, I've seen a video with him on TV stating that I have made the Guinness Book of Records. So I am now wondering if he will be actually seeing the same type of polls that he was used to before now. The fact is that we will not take anything lightly or take anything for granted. We will do the necessary groundwork, build out the interpersonal connectivity that is necessary on the ground among the people, and put forward the manifesto for the constituency, the party's agenda, and allow the people to make a choice. And I have no doubt at the end of the day they will choose a better party and a better candidate.
Well, that's all the time we had for this, listeners. Thank you, Dr. James, Counsel for the Sheffield Division and the prospective JLP candidate for Western Westmoreland. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for having me.
All the best.
Well, Sanjay, this is quite a bit of pickle that JLP find themselves in at this very moment, because I didn't even hear a conciliatory tone coming from Mr. Wilson in that voice note. Things can change on the ground in the coming months before the general elections are called, but it seems like
it's going to be tough.
It seems the party hierarchy has their job set for them in that constituency.
Because the JLP is now divided in that constituency. It's a tough constituency, as I indicated, and the elections constitutionally are due in September. It's going to be a very tough task ahead for the JLP.
Well, listeners, the headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles. That hour was brought to you by the new KFC Saucy Wings. Hot and spicy wings tossed in mango habanero or buffalo sauce. Wings that will crunch the rest. New KFC Saucy Wings. It's finger licking good.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
3 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton.
Government parliamentary leaders Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith and Edmund Bartlett have doubled down on their concerns regarding the appointment of Renif Lawrence as acting director of corruption prosecution at the Integrity Commission. Their latest concerns come in a second letter sent to the chairman of the commission, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick. The letter is also copied to Governor General Sir Patrick Allen. It's the latest salvo in the government's escalating objection to the appointment of the close friend of PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell to a sensitive post within the commission. The government leaders in their latest letter told retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick that they do not wish to engage in an unending series of responses and counter-responses, but they maintain that they are of the view that the matters raised in her letter, which came following their initial expression of concern, are of sufficient public interest to warrant further comment. The government parliamentary leaders wrote that regarding the issue of Renif Lawrence, his close friendship with the PNP General Secretary, and potential conflict of interest, they very humbly and respectfully remind the Integrity Commission chairman of what they described as the decision of former Chief Justice Lord Hewitt in R and Sussex Justices. That 1924 case is known as the authority on the principle of justice not only needing to be done, but also to be seen to be done. Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections Cafe is renewing its call for the government to reinstate the Office of the Political Ombudsman as a standalone entity. Cafe's deputy chairman Anton Thompson says this is crucial to ensuring fairness and accountability given that the country is in an election year.
We are calling for the return now, even on a temporary basis. We need to have that office in place. We have general elections every 5 years in Jamaica, but we also have local government elections, and we saw a heightened amount of activity for the by-elections that were held, particularly the local government ones, that were held in November last year. And you see, in those circumstances, we would have appreciated having a political ombudsman around, because we are now in the middle of an election campaign for all practical purposes. It can be held anytime in the next 6 months. And the fact is we're going to see a heightened degree of activity, etc., the back and forth about this and that, and some of those things will cross the line.
The Office of the Political Ombudsman is charged with protecting political parties and their adherents against violations of their rights, abuse of power, unfair decisions, and maladministration in the political arena that would impact the overall administration of the country. The functions were subsumed into the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, in 2024. This was in a bid to promote efficiency and accountability in the electoral process, but the move has been met with strong resistance from several civil society groups and stakeholders, including the opposition PNP. They say the consolidation could compromise impartiality. Mr. Thompson says the Office of the Political Ombudsman should be reinstated with increased powers.
There is a question about the effectiveness of that office while it was there. If we are able to increase the powers of the standalone ombudsman, that would be a good thing. I would be a little skeptical myself that we could do it, given the fact of the nature of our politics and who would be the persons to increase those powers. The very persons that the ombudsman would be empowered to put in line. However, we would like to see that.
Anton Thompson, Deputy Chairman of CAFE. And the country's point-to-point inflation rate rose slightly in the month of March. Data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin suggests point-to-point inflation for the period was 5%. This is up from 4.4% the month before. This was influenced mainly by the point-to-point inflation rate for the divisions food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels, and restaurants and accommodation services. It's the first increase in the last 3 months. It also represents the highest point-to-point inflation in the in the last 6 months. Despite the increase, the rate remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. The BOJ in recent months has halted its favorable monetary policy of repeatedly lowering interest rates due to volatility in global trade. It's uncertain how the central bank will react if inflation again trends upwards. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Banter Sport is next.
Jamaica! Get your tickets now for Arise 2025, the music celebration, and join the gathering with the Hoppers, Gospel Proclaimers, Rhoda Isabella, Carrie Sales, and others at the National Arena, Easter Sunday, April 20 at 5 p.m. Group of 15, 6,000 per person. General 6,500 and VIP 9,500. Available at Source of Light Music Mart, SpurOpen.com/Arise 2025. Bring the family as we celebrate with the Hoppers. One awesome evening.
Want to reduce your high electricity bills? Then Peak Energy has the solution for you. From grid-tied to hybrid solar inverters with full lithium-ion battery pack. Installation and maintenance packages available. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hill, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Good evening with your sports report. I'm Alex Webby. We both things off with some cricket as Jamaica made a losing start to their campaign in the West Indies Rising Star Under-15 Cricket Championships, going down by 9 wickets to champions Barbados at Liberty Sports Club in Antigua on Tuesday. The young Jamaicans crashed to 77 all out in 24.5 overs, with 3 players getting into double figures, including wicket-keeper Llewellyn Price, who top-scored with 22. Asha Branford bagged 4 wickets for Barbados, while Joshua Thompson and Jahidi Hines claimed 3 apiece. The Bajans then raced to 78 for 1 in 18 overs to complete the victory. Jamaica's next game will be against Guyana on Thursday at the Antigua Recreation Ground. In other games on today, the Windward Islands 110 for 2 beat the Leeward Islands 109 all out by 8 wickets at the Coolidge Cricket Ground, while Guyana 171 for 4 beat Trinidad and Tobago 168 all out by 6 wickets. Excelsior High School batsman Justin Adlam believes the Mountain View Avenue-based institution could be on their way to something special this season. Excelsior beat Kingston College by 76 runs on Monday in the final of the ISA First Global Bank Schoolboy T20 Cricket Urban Era competition. It was their second title of the season, having already secured the Graced Shield. They can win an unprecedented 4 titles with the All-Ireland Spalding Cup playoff against Stets and the ISA Super 8 T20 League still to come. Adlam, who scored a half-century in the final against Kingston College, is looking forward to the rest of the season.
I think we have a fairly good chance. We're going into the competition with confidence, hoping to bring it to God's will. But yeah, we're just going with confidence and going to play hard cricket. So if we play hard cricket, I think we can carry it.
Adlam says the final against KC really tested the team.
I think the team had a fairly good performance. The openers didn't really come off, but the middle order really catched up. Myself, I played a fantastic innings. I think trust God and thing and do what I have to do.
Justin Adlam. Now, Punjab Kings set an Indian Premier League record for the lowest total successfully defended as they beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 16 runs today. Chasing 112 to win, KKR looked on course for victory at 72 for 3, but a collapse of 7 wickets from 23 runs in 36 balls meant they were bowled out for 95 in 15.1 overs. Indian leg spinner Yuzvendra Chahal took 4 for 28 as KKR capitulated on a pitch offering a variable bounce. West Indies all-rounder Andre Russell was the last man out, bowled for 17 via an inside edge by left-arm quick Marco Jansen. The winning total of 111 beat Chennai Super Kings 116 for 9 against Punjab Kings in 2009 as the lowest score defended in a full IPL match. The venues for the 2028 Summer Olympics were announced on Tuesday, with cricket matches to be played at the Fairground in Pomona on the West Coast. Cricket is returning to the Olympic program for the first time in over 100 years. In the Greater Los Angeles region, Anaheim will host volleyball, while squash will make its Olympic debut in the San Fernando Valley, set against the Universal Studio Lot's backdrop, which featured in films such as To Kill a Mockingbird and Back to the Future. Boxing returns to the Olympic lineup in 2028, with early rounds set for the Peacock Theater and finals taking place at the arena in downtown Los Angeles. Baseball will be staged at Dodger Stadium, while the triathlon will be held at Venice Beach. Now to football, as Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain punch their ticket to the semi-finals of the European Champions League following two gripping second-leg quarter-final ties on Tuesday. Serhou Guirassy scored a hat-trick as German outfit Borussia Dortmund beat Barcelona 3-1, but the Catalan club advanced 5-3 on aggregate after their 4-0 first-leg win at home.
Guirassy, one goal in his last 7 matches, has lost his form. This will do him the world of good. This will do the whole of Dortmund the world of good. How good was that? Dortmund lead on the night. It's a decent cross to the far post, headed back by Benzabani and in. Guirassy again at a miserable first leg, a miserable start to this, but he has his second, and they have half the deficit now. 2-0 to Dortmund on the night.
So a lot of work still to do. Fermin Lopez with Lewandowski in the box. Oh, it's an own goal. Oh, and Guirassy's there again. A hat-trick. 15 minutes to go. And the deficit is reduced to 2.
The French champions, PSG, also suffered defeat. They lost 3-2 to Aston Villa at Villa Park, but went through 5-4 in aggregate.
Dembele is waiting in the centre. Martinez got to it, but Hakimi has scored. Ambush. 11 minutes gone, and Paris Saint-Germain stretched their lead. Villa are outnumbered here. This is Dembele. Hakimi wants the ball on into the box. Instead, it's squared for Nuno Mendes, and both full-backs have scored. And here's Tielemans, and it's good in Pacho, and Aston Villa have got one back. Make good progress here, John McGinn. Pick that up. Villa on terms on the night. Marcus Rashford, come back for Konsa. Aston Villa have scored twice in no time at all. They lead on the night. They are within one on aggregate.
The last two semi-finalists will be known on Wednesday when Arsenal takes a 3-0 lead to Spain to face champions Real Madrid, while Bayern Munich are in Italy looking to overturn a 2-1 deficit against Inter Milan. CONCACAF President Victor Montagliani has criticized a proposal to expand the 2030 Men's World Cup to 64 teams. The plans put forward by South American governing body CONMEBOL have also drawn opposition from UEFA President Alexander Serafin and the Asian Football Association. The tournament will be hosted by Spain, Morocco and Portugal after the opening matches are held in Argentina, Paraguay and Uruguay. The 2026 World Cup, which will take place across the United States, Mexico and Canada, has already been expanded from 32 to 48 teams. But CONMEBOL said it wanted to add more participants to mark the competition's 100-year anniversary. CONCACAF is the governing body of football in North America, Central America and the Caribbean. The decision to expand the 2026 World Cup to 48 teams was taken in 2017 following a unanimous vote at a FIFA Congress. FIFA's 75th Congress will be held in Paraguay on May 15, when CONMEBOL's proposal could be discussed. If the proposal is accepted, the 2030 edition would consist of 128 matches, double the number played under the 64-game format used from 1998 to 2022. In March, Serafim described the proposal as a bad idea, while AFC President Sheikh Salman bin Ibrahim Al Khalifa said it would cause chaos. Now to boxing, as Daniel Dondon Hilton is confident of victory when he takes on Toriano the Medic Nicholas in their 4-round lightweight contest in the Boxing in the Arena fight card at Big Buy Complex in Woodhall, Clarendon on April 20. Hilton says Nicholas will find it difficult to keep up with his speed.
I know I will be going at it with him. I don't sure if he can manage heat, but definitely I know that I am going for it 4 rounds. If it make it to the 4 rounds, then so be it, but we're definitely going for it.
He says he's in the best condition of his life.
I am in good condition at the moment because I have been preparing for this fight for some while now. So I know I'm in great condition mentally, physically, and ready for this fight.
Daniel Dondon Hilton. Meanwhile, Kimal L.G. Samuels will clash with Demar Force Haslam in the junior welterweight category, and Akeem the Dream Francis will take on Ronaldo Sleepy Beckford in the middleweight division. And finally, in tennis, British number 4 Harriet Dart has apologized for asking the umpire to tell her French opponent to put on deodorant during her first-round loss at the Rubian Open. Dart lost 6-love, 6-3 to Louise Boyson, which included the 28-year-old being swept aside in the opening set in just 28 minutes. During a changeover in the second set, Dart was heard on the broadcast asking the official, "Can you ask her to put on deodorant? She smells really bad." But Dart later posted on her Instagram story, "I want to apologize for what I said on court today. It was a heat-of-the-moment comment that I truly regret." End quote. I'm Alric Swibby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall. Upper Total Tools. Beat back figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Nationwide 90 FM will be broadcasting live from the National Achievement Expo on Wednesday, April 16 from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Join us at the main stage, Denby 4-H Center in Clarendon, for a premier youth and agricultural event celebrating innovation and leadership. Under the theme, Youth in Agriculture, Shaping the New Face of Food. The expo highlights the outstanding achievements of Jamaica's youth in agriculture, home economics, and environmental stewardship. Come and see the youths of Jamaica who will be steering agriculture in the right direction. That's a live outside broadcast at the main stage, Denby 4-H Center in Clarendon, Wednesday, April 16. It's the National Achievement Expo. Catch the live stream on Nationwide's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica 4-H Club.
Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on April 16 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast a groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Development. Raintree Commercial Complex aligns with UDC's goal of developing urban spaces. On 108 acres at Block 1, it will offer commercial and light industrial opportunities, creating 2,000 short-term and 5,000 long-term jobs, benefiting the Caymanas community. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on April 16 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for this groundbreaking activity. It's the groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Development. Also catch the live stream on Nationwide's YouTube channel at Nationwide Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special one to our YouTubers. Greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. This one, it concerns us all. It concerns we the people, so let's get to it. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has accepted that the goal of transforming Jamaica into a republic at this time has been dashed. The Prime Minister places the blame of the failure squarely at the feet of opposition leader Mark Golding. Now, the Prime Minister delivered the rebuke while addressing a large crowd during the Jamaica Labour Party's East Central St. Catherine constituency conference, yes, on Sunday.
You can't take what the PNP say because they only act in their convenience. So the dream of many Jamaicans of our country becoming a republic has been dashed at the altar of PNP selfishness. Primarily because they don't want the Jamaica Labour Party to be credited with making Jamaica the republic. They don't want that because they know that we would go down in the annals of history as a party that repatriated our sovereignty. They don't want that.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. So in public opinion this evening, we're asking, what's your reaction to the Prime Minister's declaration that the push towards becoming a republic has been stalled? Your reaction to this. I'll start with the comments on our Instagram platform where Zoe School is saying it's been stalled since Jamaica gained independence on August 6, 1962, going on 63 years now. Laurie Playfair is saying the PM continues to be dishonest and unworthy of a vote. Nobody wants a dictatorship. PNP ask for dialogue and for him to tell when he will move from the Privy Council, but he knows he's not moving. She's saying, thank God for Marky G and the PNP to save the people, and she says, #time come. All right. Willie Ryan Wilson is saying that the PM needs to be frankly transparent about the real reason or condition of the opposition's approval of the move. Willie is saying he can't just arbitrarily make a baseless statement like this to fuel tension among constituents. All right. Let me see. Pesto is saying that PNP is Jamaica's greatest enemy. All right. Observer is saying, yes, it is stalled. It is stalled. Money is saying, stop, it's impossible. All right. And Boss Lady is saying a British citizen stalled the process. All right, so we won't go there because we all know what happened in that regard. All right, on Facebook, let me see if I can get some of the comments there. Your reaction to the Prime Minister's declaration that the push towards becoming a republic has been stalled. Maury McCarthy is saying that's expected. PNP never supported anything good that the JLP is doing. Ellerita Mitchell is saying to us, though there are more pressing issues, the PNP has always been a stumbling block, a hindrance, just far narrow political selfishness, she says. Yeah. And she went on to say Siaga conceptualized the building homes in Portmore when he brought the bill to Parliament in 66-67. Manley and the PNP criticized, giving us a whole history here. Ellerita Mitchell. Ashton E is saying Jamaica is the beneficiary. Jamaica needs a national referendum that place on the ballot. Yeah, final court, fixed election dates, executive or ceremonial presidency, national industrial production policy and targets, unattached youths. He's saying that all of this needs to be put to a referendum. Jamaican people decide it's most relevant to vote for, not a few power-drunk autocrats. Okay, wow. Let me see. Jennifer is saying, all right, big up yourself, Jennifer Cobran Gale. Yvonne Guthrie is saying, we lay all the blame at Mark's feet. George Elliott is saying the stall is simply because the PNP does not want history to recall that it was achieved by the JLP. Those are sentiments echoed by the Prime Minister. Daphne McCreath is saying for the time being it is kind of stalled by Mark Golding. Damo is saying I never believed it would have happened. In Jamaica we specialize in pure chit-chat until eternity. PNP stalled it this time, but the JLP the previous time, although then government was also sidetracked with severe economic problems, so there was no will. All right. John Jackson is saying he's correct. The PNP stalled it for true. Mark is saying for Jamaica to be a republic country, then the government must be prepared to fully decolonize from the British monarchy. We can't pull away and still be holding on to the Privy Council. Not a thing can go so. Fully decolonize and have our final court of appeal at the CCJ. Your reaction to the Prime Minister's declaration that the push towards the republic, the country becoming a republic, has been stalled. Isaac is saying PNP is not for the nation building. Philip Jackson saying, well, that PM says need no doctoring. Well, becoming a republic is dashed at the PNP's altar of sacrifice, of selfishness. But when rat starts to cut, calabash iron pot must beware. Philip Jackson always agree with some proverbs, you know. Anthony Shakes is saying, yes, Jamaica becoming a republic has been stalled because of the opposition leader. He's the man who put the Privy Council in the loop, although he had given his word in Parliament. Shins for Life is saying, when will Jamaica really become independent? Is questioning rather, when will Jamaica really become independent? All right. A lot of comments coming in on our Facebook. Let me go to our YouTube. Yeah. Let me go to our YouTube here. Jamaican for Life is saying PNP is not about building Jamaica. Hewitt Hugh is saying the People National Party believe that they have the God-given right to govern Jamaica. Costas Brown says, no republic. We have better things to get going. That's a sideshow. The time wasted on that, they could get their candidates in place a long time ago. All right. Let me see if I can get some more. Affectionate Forest says, we will keep on pushing and we will overcome. All right. Let me see. Patrick Samuel says PNP has a tendency to stall. Yeah. Alex the Great says the truth is that Jamaica becoming a republic at this time is not all that important. We have better things to deal with. Okay. Wesley Cunningham is saying put it to the people. Let us decide whether or not Jamaica becomes a republic. Referendum right there, or is it that you're saying whether or not the matter of the Privy Council CCJ that should be put to the public? Wesley, that is what you're saying. Good News is saying if there's a complaint, all right, that's unrelated to the public opinion question. All right. Killian Henry is saying Mark want to keep us in the master pocket book. Okay. Wow. PM not giving up his Privy Council membership. That's according to Radley Boy. Yeah, David Nebar says the PNP is history. Maureen Mackenzie is also agreeing to put it on the ballot box. Put it to the people, put it on the ballot box. Carl is saying the opposition always oppose. Yeah, David Nebar is saying I support the Prime Minister 100%. For me, I feel as though it is sad to see that the process has been stalled. I won't say, squarely at whose feet or whoever feet. Yeah, but it's sad to see that the process has been stalled because this is something that I think we all agree on to say that, it's time for us to let go off of the monarchy. But yeah, it's sad to see that the process has been stalled in a sense where they had the committee and the CRC and they've been going back and forth and they've been registering concerns, both sides of the political divide in their own representative, but yet no outcome or a stalled outcome. Yeah. Let me see. Arlene Rowe is saying Mark Golding did decide to do it in parts, then backtracked saying you can't have 1 foot out and 1 foot in. That time he had a body in and half out. Okay. Wow. Dory is saying it is not up to Mark or Andrew. Ask us. Put it to the people. And I think that's what is being said here. Put it to the people. Andrea Dunk is saying it's clear who stalled the process. Yeah. Caldon saying let they say yes or no. Put it to the people and let they say yes or no. All right, guys, I'm going to run. I'm getting the wrap-up signal. Thank you so much for participating always in Public Opinion. We do appreciate you. Yeah. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:33. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. The country's point-to-point inflation rate rose slightly in the month of March. Data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, suggests point-to-point inflation for the period was 5%. This is up from 4.4% the month before. This was influenced mainly by the point-to-point inflation rate for the division's food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels and restaurants and accommodation services. It is the first increase in the last 3 months. It also represents the highest point-to-point inflation in the last 6 months. Despite the increase, the rate remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. In the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 57 cents to buy $1. It cost 209 Jamaican dollars and 18 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 116 Jamaican dollars and 94 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
How are this on my TV?
Visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Are you ready for something mega?
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT, drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels 2 promotion, April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Race, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst Juice Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart, best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Tune in to Boya Things After Dark from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a sizzling outside broadcast live from Bird Shack Fried Chicken on 118 Red Hills Road on April 16, 2025. Follow me, Kareem Boya Things Weathers, to Bird Shack for their famous crispy fried chicken. We are bringing the vibes and our belly to Bird Shack to satisfy our hunger. Expect live music, giveaways, and more. Visit Bird Shack Fried Chicken on April 16 and join me on Boya Things After Dark. Tell us your favorite meal from Bird Shack Fried Chicken and why. So tune in on Boya Things After Dark, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on April 16. Check us out at Bird Shack Fried Chicken on 118 Red Hills Road. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken Jamaica.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Tune Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on April 16 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast a groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Development. Raintree Commercial Complex aligns with UDC's goal of developing urban spaces. On 108 acres at Block 1, it will offer commercial and light industrial opportunities, creating 2,000 short-term and 5,000 long-term jobs, benefiting the Caymanas community. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on April 16 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for this groundbreaking activity. It's the groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Development. Also catch the live stream on Nationwide's YouTube channel at Nationwide Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Nationwide 90 FM will be broadcasting live from the National Achievement Expo on Wednesday, April 16 from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Join us at the main stage, Denby 4-H Centre in Clarendon for a premier youth and agricultural event celebrating innovation and leadership. Under the theme Youth in Agriculture, Shaping the New Face of Food. The expo highlights the outstanding achievements of Jamaica's youth in agriculture, home economics, and environmental stewardship. Come and see the youths of Jamaica who will be steering agriculture in the right direction. That's a live outside broadcast at the main stage, Denby 4-H Centre in Clarendon, Wednesday, April 16. It's the National Achievement Expo. Catch the live stream on Nationwide's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica 4-H Club.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers at 6:41, and it's time for the nation's business. I'm Sean Campbell.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. The country's point-to-point inflation rate rose slightly in the month of March. Data from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, suggests point-to-point inflation for the period was 5%. This is up from 4.4% the month before.
This was influenced mainly by the point-to-point inflation rate for the division's food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, and restaurants and accommodation services. It's the first increase in the last 3 months. It also represents the highest point-to-point inflation rate in the last 6 months. Despite the increase, the rate remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%.
The BOJ in recent months has halted its favorable monetary policy of repeatedly lowering interest rates due to volatility in global trade. It's uncertain how the central bank will react if inflation again trends upwards. Well, joining us to discuss further, we have with us chartered accountant Dennis Chung and economist Keenan Faulkner. Good evening and welcome.
Hi, evening, guys.
Shawan, evening, Sanjay.
Good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Starting with you, Keenan. I mean, it's early days yet. It's just a slight increase over the month prior. But is this a concerning trend that could be developing? Because considering what's going on in the global markets, should we expect further potential increases in inflation?
Well, I don't think you can really tie both of them together right now. I just think that this particular data point just reflects the fact that there is economic recovery in this quarter, because inflation would have gone down previously because of the deceleration in economic activity. So I think this is probably more reflective of that. But at the same time, two things can be true. There is an expectation that prices will start to rise generally, even though there is a pause on the tariffs. There's a general expectation that inflation will increase, and those inflation expectations can actually feed into actual inflation. So I think we probably should still continue to remain cautious. I expect that the Bank of Jamaica will probably keep its monetary stance in line with that because they have paused the rate decreases for now, and I think they'll probably continue on that similar trajectory at the time of the next decision.
And Dennis, what's your forecast?
Oh, yeah, I agree with Keenan. I think that what we saw in terms of the uptick in inflation is really just the economic recovery, because we would have known that we coming off of 2 quarters of decline. And we expect that the first quarter of this year is going to be basically flat, but marginally above zero. So I think it really is just a reflection of increased demand that caused it, and coming from the economic recovery. As we're going forward, the risk is up to the upside of inflation because this trade war that's happening now, even though it really is not affecting us in terms of, the higher tariffs coming in, the fact of the matter is that you might, because of the expectation, as Keenan said, and some impact, some contagion, that you might be looking at higher prices coming in because of the uncertainty and everything. What we noticed, though, is that in this period that the U.S. dollar has been weakening. So that actually is a good sign for us. It has been weakening globally because it means that, we might not be impacted so much as a strengthening dollar in terms of the exchange rate. But I'm not alarmed by what has happened. I think it's just recovery. We're still in the target range of 4 to 6%. I agree that BOJ is going to hold steady next time also because given the global situation, it would not make any sense for them to do anything else.
Interesting. Please stay with us, gentlemen. We're up on a break.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now.
It's 6:46. Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We're talking inflation. The country's inflation rate moved up slightly from 4.4% to 5% as at the end of March. And we're talking with Chartered Accountant Dennis Chung and economist Keenan Faulkner. So, Keenan, explain to our listeners this link between a slight increase in inflation and the expectation of economic recovery in terms of the first quarter of 2025.
Quarter that just ended.
Yes.
Because there was an uptick in demand, and it is expected that we'll return to positive growth in this quarter when the official figures come out sometime. Well, the projection will come out 6 weeks after the end of the quarter in the middle of May, and they'll be confirmed at the end of June. But it is highly likely that we'll get back to positive growth of somewhere between 0 and 1% between January to March. And I think that is just now feeding into the actual inflation figures. You see the categories that were said that they increased, like restaurants and accommodation, food and beverage, as well as utilities and fuel. So because of that uptick in demand relative to the previous quarters, it has now shown with more people spending more money in the economy relatively now compared to the downturn of the previous 6 months at the end of 2024. And now that has accounted for this relative increase from 4.4 to 5%. So it's not really a case where I think we're in any danger of breaching the 6%. We are really now just back where we normally should be, because remember, it took us a long time to get below 5%.
Yes, quite a while.
So we had, and that was because of the real drying up of demand towards the end of 2024. So now the fact that we are back at around 5, let's say 5, a little bit above 5% is where we usually are. Where it just demonstrates that we are essentially where we are at for most of the time.
Mm-hmm. And Dennis, you mentioned earlier the trade war that is happening. To what extent should we be concerned about the trade war that we're seeing, the global shipping disruptions, the energy prices? Will it play any factor in any possible increase in the inflation rate?
Yeah, well, more than the inflation rate, but definitely we do buy a lot of things from the U.S.
Yes.
If prices going into the U.S. go up, then it means that while we take some time to source goods from other places, because we can get the same goods maybe from other places at a lower cost, we're still going to be impacted by the imports that's coming out to the U.S. The other thing also is that even though the goods, for example, might be cheaper coming out of China, the shipping costs are going to be more. So that would play a part. The bigger concern for me, though, because I think that we can somehow manage inflation in terms of where we source things and looking more towards internal, if we can, for example, with food. The bigger concern for me is that if the consumer in the U.S. is affected, then it could affect tourism.
Yes.
And that, for me, is a bigger concern that we could face. So not necessarily inflation is my concern, but rather the earning potential of the country in terms of foreign exchange, and particularly tourism, because of consumer demand and also remittances. Because if people in the U.S. have less disposable income, then it means that remittances could be impacted also. So that is where I see the main concern coming from this trade war.
And Dennis, what about the potential impact on local businesses? Because the Bank of Jamaica has essentially said we're going to pause our favorable policies of interest rate reductions as they await for things to essentially normalize on the global trade regime. How will local businesses now adapt in terms of the borrowing costs essentially having to now remain stalled at a higher rate?
Yeah, well, I think that businesses are still going to be suffering a little bit because the borrowing costs are going to remain at the current levels. The biggest problem for me, I think, for businesses is that if there's a slowdown in remittances and tourism, then the natural demand, not talking about cost now and ability to borrow money, but just the demand could slow down. We saw what happened during COVID when tourism declined. We saw the significant impact on the economy. We depend a lot on tourism. So, if that goes down, then we could have an issue. So, hopefully, my hope is that this trade war is really short-lived. I think someone will blink soon, and we'll see things change back. I don't expect that these tariffs are going to be prolonged for any time, because I think that what you're seeing in the U.S. now, not just the stock market and a lot of people losing value of the 401ks, but rather U.S. dollar weakening. That is a big issue for the U.S. if that happens, a major issue. I think they're going to reverse it soon. I think they're going to find a way of reversing it.
And just another bit of news coming in today, gentlemen, from Statin. The unemployment rate for the first quarter of 2025 is 3.7%, a slight increase in unemployment compared to October. I think that was 3.5%. Is that a concern, or this is just what you would expect considering we reached an extreme record low unemployment rate?
Yeah, I would agree with that, because when it gets so low at 3.5%, it is highly unlikely that it will really get much lower. So if it has a slight uptick to 3.7%, it still demonstrates that there is effectively full employment. When you get to around 4 or 5% in the economy, it means that the labor market is so tight. So it shows that the labor market is still tight. It's grappling with a shortage of skilled personnel in various areas. But we have essentially reached now an inflection point where it is not going to get below 3.5%. I think it will either just continue to hover at 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, or below 4% until that issue related to the mismatch of demand and supply of skills can be adequately addressed.
And in planning, Dennis, what should households and businesses do now to prepare? Let's say if inflation remains sticky or creeps upwards again in quarter two.
Well, what you have to do, the first thing, I mean, when you see situations like this, I remember going into COVID, I told people that, you should look at your debt profile and try and reduce your debt as much as possible. Or you want to get into some fixed rates debt, right? So you hold the debt. Because in these times, then, it's quite possible if inflation becomes a threat that interest rates would go back up. The other thing, though, is that you have to, and you always should do this, whether in these times or not, is budget carefully. Look at the things that you need to spend on, look at the things that are disposable, and budget carefully, because you always should have, particularly going to times like these, some amount of money set aside for a rainy day. So nothing has changed in terms of what you really need to do. But, the fact that we're in this environment now where inflation is a risk, you have to look at those things particularly more carefully to ensure that, you don't get caught up in it.
And Keenan, just finally from me, under the current climate and considerations, where does Jamaica fare in terms of its macroeconomics, such as the NIRs and or debt portfolio?
Well, I mean, both of those are at record lows, and I think that augurs well for resilience and stability, because we're at a point now where all or most of the macroeconomic fundamentals are trending in the right direction. So had it been a situation where we were, say, the 2008 financial crisis or a previous crisis, our ability to weather those storms would have been less at the time. But no, because we have essentially put our fiscal and macroeconomic house in order, it means that we are better prepared to withstand these shocks. And, you won't realize that immediately, because you don't think of stability as having an effect when it's present, but rather when it is absent. When it is absent, that's when you're going to start to feel the effects of macroeconomic and fiscal stability and know just how unprepared you are for shocks. But now, if something happens and it takes you a year or less to recover, that is now becoming the normal expectation going forward.
Well, gentlemen, I think we have to leave it there. We'll continue to watch this one, but thank you as always, Keenan Faulkner. He is an economist, and also Dennis Strong, chartered accountant. Thank you for your time this evening, gentlemen.
All right, no problem there.
All right, thank you.
We take a break, listeners, and we come back. I believe next is Nature's Remedies.
Get the inside scoop. Tune in to Budget Bites, a brief breakdown of the 2025 budget presentation by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. It's an informative snapshot of the budget and what it means for you. Don't miss Budget Bites, bite-sized insights into the Prime Minister's vision for Jamaica. Budget Bites, unpacking the budget for you.
The cost of energy is a key component of the cost of living, and this government has introduced significant changes to cushion the impact of high energy costs. As I had announced in November 2024, and the Minister of Finance and the Public Service stated last week, the GCT on residential electricity will be reduced from 15% to 7% effective May 1, 2025. Also, the 150 kilowatt per month GCT-free threshold will be removed and replaced with an incentive-based rebate of 10% for customers consuming up to 250 kilowatt hours per month. The rebate has been designed to incentivize energy conservation, as only households consuming up to 255 kilowatt hours are entitled to the rebate. The government is also determined to address the issue of energy poverty in the country. We are allocating $1 billion to cover wiring and inspection costs for the first 200 first-time JPS customers under the program to regularize and get them on the grid. We are also exploring ways to reduce the cost of formalization, including innovative technical solutions such as ready boards complete with circuit breakers, socket outlets, and a light that could effectively form a low-cost starter pack for household wiring. So the technology actually exists to give you a compact and ready-to-use connection to electricity. So we are exploring that. We have looked at some options, and we're going to be making that available. When you talk to people who are illegally abstracting electricity, let me put it that way, they know it's wrong, but in their minds, how can we expect them to live without electricity? In effect, there is a kind of expectation, that the use of electricity is a human right, and somehow the state should provide for it. Now, our budget would not be able to take that on, but the current situation is untenable, where there is a large portion of our population that is consuming electricity illegally. Somebody's paying for it, and it is the consumers who actually pay their electricity bills. So we have to find a way, we have to find a good equilibrium in this situation, where we make it easier for people to get onto the grid legally and safely. And then we have to find ways to get people to be able to pay for the electricity as they earn and as they use. So in effect, the challenge is not just the high electricity rates, it is the high onboarding rate, the cost of wiring, the cost of inspection, and then it is the inflexible payment system, especially if you are on the postpaid system. We have to bring these kinds of innovation to market, and governments have tried. The member from St. Andrews Southeast had mentioned that when he was in the Ministry of Energy, that they had started a project. But this project builds on that in some ways, but this is far more comprehensive. But more than that, this project has staying power, because we're making an allocation for this budget, but you can bet that the next budget, we will also have a bigger allocation to do more. So for the first 20,000 prepaid meter installations under the program, there will be a free monthly top-up of $4,000 per month for 6 months, the cost of which will be shared 50-50 between JPSCo and the government. As Minister Vaz has already announced, the government has signaled its intention to renegotiate the license with JPS, which expires July 2027. We are in the process of engaging international experts to support it. The government remains resolute in its commitment to a strategic and sustainable energy transition that balances affordability, reliability, and environmental responsibility. To further accelerate this transition, the government has recently awarded 100 megawatts of new renewable generation capacity, which is expected to come on stream by 2027. An additional 220 megawatts of renewables with storage are scheduled to be procured in 2025 alongside JPS's replacement of 171.5 megawatts of retiring fossil fuels units using only renewables. This will bring Jamaica's electricity generation to approximately 48% when the projects are connected to the grid.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The Conference of Choice is back. Join us April 29 to 30 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel Kingston and online for the world's only Middle Managers Leadership Conference. Hear from 30 business leaders across 4 continents. Expand your network, gain strategies, and elevate your leadership. Learn, connect, and grow with experts. Limited on-site spaces available. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-60022. MMC 2025, a legacy of transformation and execution.
Jamaica! Get your tickets now for Arise 2025, the music celebration, and join the gathering with the Hoppers, Gospel Proclaimers, Rhoda Isabella, Carey Sales, and others at the National Arena, Easter Sunday, April 20 at 5 p.m. For 6,000 per person. General 6,500 and VIP 9,500. Available at Source of Light Music Mart, SpurOpen.com/Arise 2025. Bring the family as we celebrate with the Hoppers. One awesome evening.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. Lord have mercy, hey. Sing friends, Spurlina build up my confidence. Rastafari run the continent. This King Selassie, I pay the consequence.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. You hear that tune, you know it's time for Nature's Remedies. This is a program to educate you about the useful uses of natural herbs. Tonight we'll be talking about the annatto plant. As usual, we'll be opening the line so you can call in with any questions you might have for resident pharmacognosist Dr. Denise Daly. Good evening, Dr. Daly.
Good evening, Siobhan. Good evening, Sanjay. And
Good evening, Dr.
listeners.
Daly.
How are you doing?
Doing quite well. It has been a while. I'm happy to see you, Dr. Daly. How are you?
It has been. I'm doing well, and I'm happy to see you guys as well. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to sharing more.
And today's discussion is about the annatto plant, Dr. Daly. Can you give us a bit of information as to what this plant is and what it's used for?
Yes, I'd love to start by asking you, do you know natta? That natta plant. We call it natta, we call it lipstick tree or lipstick plant. Ever heard of it before?
I've seen it before. Yes, this one I'm a little bit more familiar with. I have seen it before.
Okay, great. So, and Sanjay, you said never.
I have never heard of it.
Okay. Well, the natta, as we call it in Jamaica, we also call it poor man's saffron, because if you know the saffron spice, it's that bright orange or yellow spice that we can use to cook with. Natta or annatto, we grow in Jamaica, and one part of the island that has it or used to have it in high quantities, I think you guys can guess, where in Jamaica we had a lot of annatto being grown. That's the natto plant.
Yes,
annatto Bay. So
I thought so, you know. As well as maybe that was just too much of a convenience.
Right?
Yeah, so we had, that's why I got its name. It grows well there. I had a lot of natto plants there. And we use it a lot early out. I don't know how much we're using it now in Jamaica. I don't see it as much in the supermarkets. But at the markets, you will see the natto plant. It's a natural coloring plant. So a lot of the food industry producers or manufacturers, they are now using natto as an alternative to colorants and some of those harmful chemicals that we put in our food. So in the dairy industry, to do cheese, snacks, butter, margarine, all those different types, they are also now incorporating annatto seeds into the formulation because of the natural color and all the medicinal properties that it gives.
Mm-hmm. And talk to us about some of the key nutrients in the annatto plant.
The annatto plant, it is rich in carotenes. So carotenes are the yellow-orange compounds, similar to carrots and mangoes and pumpkins and so on. These are very good, not only for the eyes and the skin, but they act as antioxidants. They act as anti-inflammatory. It also contains some minerals and vitamins like your zinc, magnesium, and so forth. It's also an excellent source of salicylic acid. It's not a vitamin, but it's also a phytonutrient. Salicylic acid is the same active ingredient in aspirin. So you take aspirin for headache, you take it for pains and aches. That compound is also in your annatto seeds that we can use. It also has a lot of amino acids. Amino acids are your proteins, and these are also found in the annatto plant. So you can add it to your food and you get more nutritional value.
So tell me, doctor, how exactly do you, because you've outlined quite a few ways it's useful, but how do you utilize it in terms of a natural remedy?
All right, so as a natural remedy, we can start in different ways. So let's look at having it externally. So for your skin, annatto can help with skin burn or sunburns. So for sunburn and also skin burn. So if you're fire or heat and your skin is damaged, you can soak some annatto seeds in oil, let's say cooking oil, olive oil, or sweet almond, any type of those carrier oils. Soak about quarter cup or a couple tablespoons of annatto in some oil, and you can apply it to the wounded area. All right, so apply it to the skin. So it's great for that. Insect bites, that same skin oil, add it to your lotion, your products, or directly to the insect bite. Snake bite is great for snake bite as well. It's an antidote for cassava poisoning. So you can take a few of the annatto seeds if you get cassava poisoning. But by now, I think a lot of Jamaicans know how to prepare cassava. So we don't have much cassava poisoning happening nowadays. So sunburn, skin burn, if you have scars that are taking long to heal, long to go away, you can add the annatto oil to these scars, and it helps to reduce it as well. Rashes, there's so many we can talk about. So think, if you have annatto available and there's a skin ailment, you can start applying it. It enriches the skin and helps with healing.
Someone is asking, as you talk about skin condition, the matter of psoriasis, which is also a skin condition, if it could also be used for that.
Yes, it can. What I would do for psoriasis, when you make that annatto oil, by adding the seeds, adding the oil, add some neem oil as well. Neem is very potent. I've formulated an oil with neem and a couple other medicinal plants, and it's great for psoriasis, eczema, and quite a few ailments as well. If you want to make it at home, get the annatto, add some neem oil to that blend, and have it twice a day. Clean the skin, apply your oil, and it can help.
So we've established that the plant itself is edible, doctor. How does one go about preparing it in terms of utilizing it as a meal?
As a meal, annatto stew chicken. Ever tried that?
No, not at all.
So it has a orange, dark brown kind of a look. It doesn't look like brown stew chicken. It has a lighter yellow-orange look. So annatto stew chicken, you can add a couple seeds, like 4 to 5 seeds or a quarter teaspoon, like 1 teaspoon thereabout, to your meat. If you have the powder, you crush it up and add it to your spices when you're seasoning up your meat or vegetables. You can also burn the seeds in the oil. So when you burn the seeds in the oil, it helps to give that flavor. It enhances the color and also pulls out the flavor. It has an earthy, spicy flavor, but it's not spicy. So you can add it to savory dishes. So vegetable stews, your chicken, fish, any of those dishes. If you think of having curry or turmeric, you can also have annatto. So if you'd make a curry dish with that, you can make an annatto dish with that as well.
And is there any connection between annatto and, let's say, weight management or metabolism, especially relevant to your ongoing workshop that some people may have or their natural weight loss routines?
Yes, with annatto is great as an anti-inflammatory. It also helps with your digestive health, in that it prevents constipation, or if you're constipated, you can have some annatto oil, you can have some annatto tea, and it helps to start the flow of the digestive tract and to eliminate feces and so on. It has anti-inflammatory properties. So any inflammation or indigestion within the digestive tract, having some annatto tea can also help. It can be the annatto seeds we use as tea. You can also use the annatto leaf as tea. Okay? So 1 teaspoon, 1 cup of water, and you can have that tea as a part of the digestive health. For weight loss, it helps with stimulating the breakdown of food. So if you have it before exercise or right after exercise, it helps to ensure that some of the stored fat cells can be broken down or utilized with that energy exercise that you are doing. So that's one way it will help with weight loss as well.
And explain to us, Dr. Daly, because the annatto plant has quite a few constituent parts. You have the leaves, the stalk, and you have the red fleshy pods, the seed pods. Is every aspect of the plant usable?
Yes, well, the seeds, the leaves, and the bark. You can actually use the bark as part of the medicinal component. But really, most times, it's the leaf and the seed. Those are the most popularly used parts of the plant.
It seems, Dr. Daly, that there are several things that you can really do with this annatto plant. It's wide-ranging, as you indicated.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. When it looks at, we can look at the reproductive health.
Yes.
How does it help with reproductive health? For ladies, it helps to reduce excess menstruation. For men, it helps with providing vitamins and minerals for sperm production. So by just adding small spices to our meals, we can enhance our reproductive health. And annatto or nata is one of those plants that can help.
And how does that compare to, you mentioned earlier, how does it compare to, for example, turmeric, which is another one of those spices that we've promoted on this program?
You know, there's so many medicinal plants that do similar things. So it goes down to the potency when we compare it in the same category. For inflammation and pain, turmeric is more potent. So combining your turmeric with ginger and a little black pepper, anything else can go around that central 3 is a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. So it's not as powerful as, so nata is not as potent as turmeric in that regard. However, annatto has salicylic acid, so it's great with inflammation as well. So combining different medicinal plants in your food, you get the benefits of both. So that's how we can view it. What do you have in your kitchen? What do you have in your backyard to draw on when you have an ailment? You have flu, which one do I use first? Or we can combine them.
So you can combine the annatto with the turmeric?
Yes, you just have a bright orangish curry looking plant or tea. Yes. So these are 2 natural colorants. Yes, they can be combined.
Please stay with us, Dr. Daly. We're up on our first break. And if anybody has any questions for the doctor, please call in. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255.
So me go a walk road and go link fever. Hey, give me a bottle of spirulina. I make me mix up the roots with Medina. Me brother Teflon one give me a niece.
Great news, St. Thomas. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company is now in your parish, bringing safe, reliable, and affordable transportation right across your doorstep. We understand the challenges citizens face in the rural communities, and this is why the government is working hard to provide ease of transportation to all citizens across Jamaica. With easy-to-access routes, we can now travel comfortably to Kingston and beyond. No more long wait and travel time. We have more travel options. St. Thomas, your journey just got better. Ride with JUTC. Safe, reliable, and affordable transportation for all.
Well, I'm very comfortable.
A long time St. Thomas need a bus route like this.
Easier and cheaper.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Tune in to Nationwide at 5 on April 16 for Money Talks with Sagicor Investments. Join us for an exclusive, in-depth review of the 2025 budget and its implications on your investments. Whether you're into stocks, real estate, or business, this is the insight you need to make informed decisions in this new economic landscape. Hear from our panel featuring experts from Sagicor Investments as well as Sidney Thwaites, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, and Kimberly Elaine Batson, partner at PwC Jamaica, as they discuss key budget highlights, impact on investment strategies, economic shifts and opportunities, and expert analysis and tips for investors. Don't miss Money Talks on Nationwide at 5, April 16, 6 to 8 p.m. Watch live on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2 or on Sagicor Jamaica's Instagram. Money Talks, presented by Sagicor Investments. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. God have mercy, hey.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We're talking natural herbs and remedies. This is Nature's Remedies, and today we're talking about the annatto plant with our resident pharmacognosist, Dr. Denise Daly. As I said earlier, we are taking your calls for Dr. Daly regarding natural remedies. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Also, if you have any questions over on YouTube for the good doctor, please send them in as well. And I understand we do have a caller. Elaine, good evening.
Hi, Siobhan. How are you?
Doing all right. How are you, Elaine?
Not
Hi,
bad.
Elaine.
I'm fancy, yeah. You know, my mother usually use the annatto to fry fritters and Johnny cake. I'm telling you, get a nice color and flavor, you know.
Yes.
Just burn it in the coconut oil.
Yes. Yes.
Nice, man. I'm wondering if that patty place with that color, is it them use? Because it always have that same color.
Yes, it's part of the colorants that's used in food industry. So I don't know some of the formulation, but I remember doing foods class, and that was one of the spices you add to the crust.
Flavor. Already fried chicken, get a nice flavor.
Yeah, and that bright orange color, it helps enhance the color. So yeah, thank
So
you.
that- so-
Listen, my mother used it, but I never know what was it all about. You know, the whole time people didn't know a lot of things about plant, you know.
Yes, the herbs and the spices.
Okay, all right.
Thanks for sharing. So, Siobhan, Sanjay, some fritters with the annatto.
It sounds like I need to try it.
Something
you know.
to try, yes.
Annatto fried chicken. That doesn't sound actually that doesn't sound bad at all.
It does not.
But I'm wondering where would I be able to find that now, because I don't have any annatto just growing in my backyard. I wonder if somebody prepares it in some way and I could get it like in a little seasoned palette or something like that. I wonder if anybody in the YouTube chat knows of a place I can pick up some annatto seasoning and actually be quite disposed to finding where I can get access to that, because it definitely sounds like something I'd like to try from a culinary aspect.
And you get the medicinal and the nutritional components as well. So yeah, you should have it in the supermarkets or market.
Yeah.
So let's hear what the callers and listeners say.
So, someone is asking Dr. Daly if there are any precautions to be aware of. For example, the person says she's pregnant. Can she use it, or is it that people on certain medications should not use the annatto plant?
Yes, definitely. So that's the other part we usually talk about. Contraindication. How do we safeguard? Allergies, if you're allergic to certain plants or you have sinusitis issues where oftentimes a lot of things trigger it, try a small amount before you use the annatto, because some persons can be allergic to annatto. Pregnant and breastfeeding, you can use it to cook. It's similar to having curry and turmeric. Just a few, add it to your food just to get the color and the spice, or the flavor rather. You can add it to cook. In terms of using the root or the bark or the leaf, a small amount as tea is fine. But cooking is the best way for if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. If you're on blood thinners, any medication of that sort, you don't want to have too much of annatto. So a small cup of tea is fine, but not 2, 3, 4 times a day. you're having the tea and then the food and so on. We want to allow your medication to work, so moderation is key. It lowers, natto lowers the blood pressure. So if you're on blood pressure medication, you cannot take too much annatto in your meals as well. So those are some things to safeguard against. Otherwise, it's like adding curry to your meals. You just need a little toops to get that curry color and flavor.
Does it have an impact on blood sugar as well?
Blood sugar, it helps to manage the blood sugar, but there are some other plants that work better, but it helps with managing the blood sugar. So adding it to the meals is a part of the blood sugar management and cooking style.
I understand we have a caller on the line. Dean, good evening.
Good night, yes, sir. How are you?
Doing quite well. How are you, Dean?
Well, not bad, you know. Just we're a joke with that, you know.
I did.
Yeah, study the plants, there, you know. It seems as if we have a plant that can cure basically all problems. Put it that way.
Yes. You're saying if we have one, or you have?
I think we have one for every sickness basically.
Which one?
Yeah. And I noticed you're doing a lot of research.
Yes.
Yes, but I want your research one for me still.
Which one?
The one to cure bad mind.
All right.
Enjoy the evening. I don't want to take up your time.
All right, thank you.
That's going to be a tough task.
That's a tough task. But I'll look into it.
So Carleen Smith says she will try and get me some annatto spice. I'm looking forward to it, Carleen.
Right.
And I see where... What is it? Yes, Marlene Jackson says, good night, Sean. Yes, it is in a small packet at Bar Spice. Not sure where that is. Do you know where that is, Sanjay? Bar Spice.
I have no clue.
No.
No clue on that one.
But tell me, doctor, outside of the immediate health benefits, is there anything in the annatto plant that is useful for people suffering from more specific ailments such as cancer, diabetes, one of those other non-communicable diseases?
Yes. And that, yes, it is. So anti-proliferative. So annatto has two active compounds. They have a lot of compounds. They have flavonoids, alkaloids. We mentioned tannins. That's an alkaloid. We mentioned salicylic acid rather. That's an alkaloid. We mentioned the flavonoids. Bixin. Remember the scientific name for annatto is Bixin orellana. The compound that research have shown to be very bioactive is Bixin and norabixin. These two compounds have been shown to be anti-proliferative. What does that mean? It means when you have the annatto, these Bixin and norabixin helps to cut or break or prevent cancer cells from growing. So if you have it before cancer cells start growing, it prevents them from growing. If it's in the early stage and it's lingering, those genetic modification, those cells start changing with the annatto, they'll start getting rid of them before they become a problem. So that's an important aspect due to the bioactive compounds, Bixin and norabixin, that's in the plant. So that's very good. In terms of spina bifida, that's when you have neurological disease. When you're pregnant, you want to ensure that you have your cereal and folate and so on. Adding annatto to your meals is a benefit because it also has in folate, which is a part of the mineral and vitamins required during pregnancy to prevent any neurological or any spine defects that one may have. Eye health, definitely significant in that because of the carotenes, that it helps with your rods and cones, help you to see clearly. So there are quite a few anti-cancer, antioxidant. It also helps with the pain, as we mentioned, and diarrhea. So wounds and healing, quite a few. So just add it to our foods.
Yeah.
I understand we have another caller. Papa Nana, good evening.
How you do?
Doing all right, Papa Nana. How are you?
How are you?
You listen to me now. I have, and I just want to know who I can send some another seeds for you.
Oh?
So when you get off the program, you call me and let me find out how can I send some for you.
Okay, when you come out, just hold the line and Dana will take your details and I'll talk to you later, Papa Nana.
Yeah, but you let me talk to the doc first.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Doc, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Well, from me hear your voice, me feel good. But listen,
Thank you.
I had a very good friend.
Yes.
I hope you don't believe that I'm invading your privacy. Your married name is Daly, or you're Miss Daly?
My married name is Waits, so Daly Waits.
Oh, because when I asked you, I had a very good friend. She was Logan before she married named Daly. So
Daly.
I thought it was you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, Daly is
that very helpful thing because they have the another one just, my mother used to fry fritters with it. It was so nice. A gentleman, a restaurant always try other things and then make it with soup, cook it with coheed, all kind of different something and give it such a. I don't like when you say give it orange color. I would say give it a good color.
Okay.
Papa Nana, behave.
Okay.
Anyway, I will hold on for you,
Dana will take your details, Papa Nana.
Yes. All right. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, Doc. Enough respect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Doc, we have another question here. Someone is asking if it is safe for children or elderly persons, and they're saying, and if so, how should what's the usage difference from adults when you compare that to children or the elderly person?
All right. So it is safe for children and the elderly. Again, looking at food, adding it to food, whether it's fritters or chicken or soup, you can just add it to your meals and it's safe to consume. Similar to curry or adding your brown stew. If making tea, then for children, for adults, it's usually 1 teaspoon of the powder to 1 cup of water, or half a teaspoon, depending on how strong you want it. For children, you'd have half of that. So half teaspoon in water, and you basically draw it, you stretch it for kids. And that's how you can make it as a tea option that they can have. For elderly, the same dose for adults would work. If they're on medication, it's always advised, separate your herbs from your medication. So if they're having the tea first thing in the morning, it should be at least 2 hours before or after the medication. So that's one of the advice I'd give in that regard. So once you know the 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of water for kids, dilute it, half or quarter, and then they can have it as a tea, the leaf or the powder.
Right. And another one here, someone saying for people who can't find the fresh annatto, is it in the capsule form? I hear you spoke earlier about the powdered form.
Yes.
And they're asking if both are just as effective and what should they look for on the label just to ensure quality?
Yes. So it's in different forms, the powder and the leaf form. There's also the root. So you can see annatto root on the market. Capsule, tablets, teas, the powders, that's what you use for the spices. All those forms are available. When looking to purchase the dried portion of these, turn to the ingredients listing on your packaging and look at what's in there. You're aiming for as natural as possible. So if it's annatto and just a little preservative, meaning maybe it's vitamin C or whatever they're using. So aim for annatto as the main or only ingredient. You don't want too many exudants in there or adulterants. So just look at the ingredients listing and you should see annatto seed powder or annatto leaf powder, and that is the main ingredients to ensure quality. If it has a nutritional facts, you can also look at that to see if there's any additional nutrients on the panel that you'll get with the serving size. But check the ingredients listing and ensure that it's as small as possible and as natural as possible.
I understand we have another caller on the line. William, good evening.
Good evening, Siobhan. Evening, Sanjay.
Good evening, sir.
William.
Evening, William. Good evening.
Yeah, man, I learned a little bit more from you this evening with the natto. As a person who growing up using the natto with my grandmother. But how she used to use it, I'm still use it this way, same way. She used, after it dry and she pick out the serum, she always put it into a little bucket and put some coconut oil with it. And then now after, when she can use it now, then she get a spoon and put a little tip of it in the spoon before she put it into what she going to use. If it is rundown mackerel or sauce, whatever meat kind she want to put it on. Normally, so even up to now, I have some still right now in my footsteps. She went to a little bucket with some oil. So me just tip out the out of it to the amount of I want. And it gives it that pretty color. Same thing with the salt, with the flitters, or whatever you want. But I never really drink the tea of it. You know, so I learned that part from it. Besides that, not from childhood days. But I never know that the tea, because she never told me what the tea I could drink. I use the bark also. So I learned a little bit more from you this evening with it.
You're welcome.
So as all of us, as I said, all I use still have things to learn. We never learn.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, man, so I thank you for really, educating us. And further on with the natto.
You're welcome. Yes, man. Try the tea, add a little honey or by itself, little lime, and try the tea.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna try it.
Yes.
Yeah,
all right,
man.
thank you.
Okay, okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So Dr. Daly, I noticed you mentioned earlier that the annatto plant has carotenoids in it. Does that mean it has some benefits to eye health?
Yes. Great for the eyes. Help you for the rods and the cones. That's how you focus and see your images. So it does help with eye health. And just overall the integrity of I don't want to get too technical, but yes. Great for the eyes and for the blood vessels.
And I realize there's been a lot of concerns lately about things being used to change the coloring of foods in terms of the risks to the health, to the person's health when they're incorporated in certain things. But annatto is not one of those because it's a natural occurring colorant.
Yes, natural. And that's why a lot of the food manufacturers are now tweaking formulations to incorporate some of these natural. Annatto is the second most used natural color in the food industry or worldwide, because it's also used in cosmetics because they're shifting to more natural ingredients. Annatto is one of the major options. Like pharmaceutical industry, they use it to coat the tablets or capsules. In the cosmetic industry, it's in soap, lotion, creams. I also have a soap that I use the annatto in, and it's great for the skin with coconut milk and goat milk. So shampoos, lipstick, get your natural orange color. You can get a natural deep red color. So different intensity, you can use the annatto to get those natural colors. So persons are shifting because consumers are also shifting to natural.
And is there a potential unsafe amount of annatto that you can ingest it at any given time? Should you limit yourself to a certain amount?
You should. The recommended is 1 teaspoon in 1 cup, or quarter cup of the annatto seed in 1 cup of water. Not water, 1 cup of oil if you're making that infusion, similar to what our caller just said. Now, when you do that, you can then use like a tablespoon or 2 for cooking and so on. If you have the tea in the morning, you can cook some meals. You do not want to have 1 tablespoon at one time. That's too much. It's very potent in terms of that deep color. You'll see it pass out in your urine and in your feces if it's that excess. So small amounts, literally 4 to 5 seeds can be used for cooking or to make a tea. That's how potent it is. So it will last you a long time.
I understand we have another caller on the line. Faithful, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, Doc. Good evening, Sanjay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah. Right. My known of Nato. From grew up in the country. Used to use it in rundown.
Yes.
You get the coconut, grate the coconut, and you squeeze it and put it on fire, and you use curry. And you put in coconut, make it boil for a while. You put in a nut, and you cut up the seeds, and where they're gonna use salt fish, red herring, tin mackerel, tin mackerel, salt mackerel, and pork, you name it. And it give one of the best flavor. When you use that, you don't miss curry.
Yes.
Yeah, man. That's my experience.
Yeah, but thank you so much.
We used to use a lot. Of my country. Yeah. Because when I did pick it from the tree, right, and use it there.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Good. Hope you're still using it today.
Hello?
I hope you're still using it today.
Yeah, but I move away from the country for some time now. It's a long way I haven't used it.
Yeah. All right. So we can look at getting it in the supermarkets close by, so we can have more natural colorants in our meals.
Yeah, man, I just like to use curry and make it boil for a while. They get the seed and all those.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you, Faithful, for the call.
Thank you, Faithful.
Thanks.
So, Doctor, I have a question here. Someone is asking, are there any natural remedies that can be used to combat hair loss or to better promote hair health?
Yes, because here we have annatto again in hair health. So annatto with hair health, I'll just mention that and then add a few more food plants to that. So annatto, you can use it as a hair wash. So have the seeds, let's say a quarter cup in like about half a liter or so of water. Boil that, or you use hot water, and then you can use it to rinse or wash the hair, right? You can also use it as a pre-treatment. Similar, if you have the oil or the annatto water, add it to your hair before with your conditioner with the aloe vera and create a pre-conditioning. That helps to reduce frizz. It helps with increasing the shine, prevents damage from the sun and other natural elements. So it really helps the hair to strengthen, the actual length of the hair to strengthen. And if you look at scalp health, it is very good in stimulating growth. So annatto is good with that. It reduces wrinkles and so on the skin as the face. For alopecia or losing your hair, my favorite go-to plant is the nettle, stinging nettle. So if you have stinging nettle nearby or you have it in the supermarket, try to get some stinging nettle. You can do a hair wash with it. If you have the plant, create a soak with the oil and apply the oil in whichever area of where you're losing hair, whether it's the hairline or in the middle of the hair. Add it to your hair routine. You can mix it with rosemary, that's very good as well, and hibiscus. Those are very good options. There's another seed that's good. It's fennel seed. Excellent for hair loss as well.
I understand we have one more caller. Price, good evening.
Good evening, Price.
Good evening. Good evening.
Price, good evening.
Do you crush the seeds when you are using it?
You can crush it to get the powder. If you just drop it in the pot, in the oil when you're cooking, or boil it with your stews, you still get the color as well. Crushing it, you use less.
Okay. Thanks much.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah.
Douglas, good evening.
Hi, Nationwide family.
Evening, Douglas.
Hi, Douglas. Good evening.
I have natural right here on my counter, my kitchen counter. My family is 6, and I've cooked some jackfruit seed today. I do apple and saltfish.
Yes.
I put the 4 seeds of annatto in the oil and rub it out. And then I do my saltfish and put in the apple. And then I put the the jackfruit seed in the ackee, and nobody now wants it. I mean, I sell now. It tastes nice, it's pretty. But I said, they just say they do it to know and I eat it. So I mean, do it to know what it is. That's so fun. I do funny things all the while. And when I listen to your programs, I realize I'm living the right way.
All right, there you go.
So Jamaica people can try the jackfruit seed, ackee and sausage with a natto.
Yes.
Is there a specific reason why you put the jackfruit seeds in the ackee?
I just want to experiment.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
It tastes good. I mean, right now, I have some medication to take 9:15, and I'll take some more and take the medication. All right, nationwide family, one love.
All right, thank you, Bryce. Have a good evening.
Yes, so ackee and saltfish with natto and jackfruit seed.
I don't know about the jackfruit part though. I think the natto would be a nice addition to the ackee and saltfish. But I don't know about the jackfruit. Yeah. Saint Bess, good evening. How are you doing?
Hello.
Good evening, Saint Bess. We're hearing you. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening. Yes, I'm listening to the program. I am from the country, and we used to cultivate. My father used to cultivate a lot of annatto.
Oh, nice.
In St. Elizabeth. When he reaps it, he cuts it off the tree, and we go and with a sharp knife, and we cut them off those branches and put them in whether into a basket or a bag, and we put them on a barbecue. So you make like a barbecue is not like what we use to barbecue chicken or things like that. Big place, or like maybe made out of concrete, and we put the annatto on there to dry, and then we use a stick and beat it to get the seeds out.
Yeah.
And then we put it into a tray and fan it to get the trash separate from the seeds. And we sold them by the pound. A lot of annatto. We sold it in the pounds. I mean, like 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. A lot of annatto.
Yeah.
Yes. But we didn't know that it has medicinal use. We used to use it, put it in our rundown. And what again? When we're doing fritters, we would put it in the oil, have it fried out in the oil, and we separate it, and then we put our mixture of flour with saltfish, whatever, and make our fritters. All right, now I have annatto in my kitchen cupboard.
Good.
And I got it in Kingston here.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah, I got it from a tree in Kingston in Duhaney Park.
Oh.
Nice. I love that.
Yes, so I have annatto in my... Well, I never know it has such medicinal use.
Yes. Yes. It's an amazing plant that we have in our backyards that it's underutilized, especially now. Before we usually use it way more, but we need to get it back because of all the value it has, even in commercial. So annatto farming, we need to revamp that as much as possible.
But tell me,
I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to plant a few seeds out of what
There
I
you
have.
go. Yeah, definitely.
But tell me, Doc, is it difficult to cultivate the annatto plant?
No, because once you have, it's easy to get a feel of annatto. It just takes the time to grow because it's a big shrub. So once you have it and it grows, you reap, you just trim the plant, as you heard a while ago. Get the branches, reap the seeds. The plant is now ready for next season again. And the season is quite lengthy, right? So it's an investment. Once you plant it, you'll always have annatto seeds that you can produce and start making it in commercial quantities.
Interesting.
It's a natural vitamin E as well. So soaking it in that oil and adding it to the skin or adding it to your food, natural vitamin E.
You know, Doc, it's so amazing just listening to you. The things that we take for granted in our backyards. It's things that we take for granted. I'm a country boy. I was born in Westmoreland.
Yeah.
And the value of these things, but unfortunately sometimes we look so much to processed items, not realizing that some of the very things in our backyard can be of so much value to us.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true. So we need to now look in our backyard with a different lens.
Exactly.
I see on YouTube, Doc, Arlene Rowe asking, how do you use annatto pods for the eyes?
For the eyes, it's part of your meal. So you'd have it as a tea or in your food, soaking it. Externally, it's great for the skin. So, for example, if you have the oil soak, before bedtime, if you do a cucumber soak or you do the cucumber on your eyes, you can massage your eyelids with the annatto oil. Then you apply the cucumber slices for the 10 to 15 minutes or however time you'd use it. That helps with the external eye health, the puffiness and so on, discoloration. Especially for the discoloration, especially if you add some turmeric, that helps with the discoloration. If you're doing a face mask, having the annatto oil either before the mask or after the mask treatment, that also can help with the eyes. But internally, definitely as a tea or as food ingredient.
And I also understand that annatto can be used as part of a weight loss management regimen.
Yes, it helps with metabolizing your food, the fat cells, and helping you to burn more fat while you're exercising. So it's not just drink the tea and you lose, because we're going to be consuming. So you'd put it back. So it's just part of that routine that you'd incorporate it.
Is there any other specific benefit to annatto in terms of, for example, detoxification or helping with kidney and liver function?
It helps the liver because of its active norbixin and the bixin. It helps as an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. In the hair, well, we mentioned hair and skin health. Herbal bath is another way annatto is used with the seeds, and you can get the leaves. Get your warm water, fill up your bath or your bath pan or drum, whichever one. And if there's rashes and itching on the skin, add the annatto seeds. Let the color change, and then you sit in there for a couple minutes, like 15, 20 minutes. And that also helps with the rash and the itch with the skin. And then you apply the oil after. So those will help as well. You can also...
This one is a little way out, but let me put it to you nonetheless, Doc. So we often overlook the emotional benefits of herbs. Do you think the annatto has any calming or mood supportive qualities?
It's not, yes, in terms of its overall benefit as an anti-inflammatory, its overall benefit for gut health, because there's oftentimes our stomach is connected to our brain. We call it the gut-brain axis.
Yes.
So whatever goes into our stomach affects our mental health or calmness and so on. So it does help with the gut health and having your good bacteria being fed while the bad bacteria, the bad microbes are being reduced. So that helps to improve the mental health, anxiety, and so on. It doesn't stimulate or cause you to want to fall asleep, but it helps you to feel better overall. So it's not an insomnia aid, but overall it helps with inflammation and gut health. That equates to mental health as well.
Over on YouTube, Clover Forrest is ask Doctor, what is good to carry down high prostate? I'm assuming they're asking what is good for prostate health in men.
Prostate, once we talk about prostate, DTS from guinea hen weed. Guinea hen weed has been research proven to help with prostate health. If you have the guinea hen weed, and a lot of Jamaican backyards, it's that garlic plant. I don't know if you guys remember guinea hen weed. It has bright green leaves. Every time you cut a yard, you think it's gone, it grows back. And when you cut it, it smells like garlic. So it's a very strong smell. If you get the roots of the guinea hen weed, wash it off, allow it to dry, boil it, make some tea, be consistent. Have that every day, 5 days a week, rest for 2 days. that can be a part of your routine to help reduce prostate health. And there are quite a few herbs that you can combine to make remedies to even help further. But on a surface basis, having guinea hen tea is great. And cheney root. Cheney root is also good.
And what about the more mundane concerns such as digestion and cholesterol? Can the annatto plant help with that?
It helps through the digestive metabolism and its antioxidant properties. So that's how it will help in negating cholesterol levels. It doesn't directly reduce cholesterol, but it's like a byproduct. It works here, and as a result, cholesterol is reduced somewhere else. But you have other plants that do a better job at reducing cholesterol, but it helps with managing overall.
Doc, my mom is listening, you know. She's in Westmoreland, and she just said to me, the guinea hen weed, she says, that I know is good.
Yeah. Yes, man. Every man should have guinea hen weed tincture, tea, or the plant, and have it if not every day, it's not 3 times a week, at least once a week. Some guinea hen tea.
Good advice to put there, Doc. I see Charmaine BK saying, Doc, good night. Can the natto seed help with skin tags or warts?
It will not help to remove it. It just helps with overall skin health, so it won't help to remove it. To remove the wart and skin tags, milkweed. So the milkweed, if you can have access to milkweed, you break it and you see the white sap comes out. That you can consistently add to the skin tag or the wart. It takes a while, but it can be done. It eventually dries where you can take it off and get rid of it. So there are some other natural remedies. Some have been formulated as ointments that you can apply. But milkweed, if you have it in your backyard, you can start doing it twice a day, 3 times a day. Just getting the milk, the latex, putting on that area, and eventually it dries and can be removed.
Yeah. And Doc, I understand you in July, you have a 3-day in-person workshop. Talk to us about that. What are some of the most exciting things people can expect to learn or experience in your July workshop?
Yes, so we're looking to do some workshops. Some will be virtual. We're looking at in-person as well. With these workshops, with the in-person or virtual, we'll be making different remedies, making different natural products. I specialize in skincare products. So I make soaps, oils, creams, and not just the surface. What medicinal plant do you have access to? We're going to formulate plants or products based on what you have, what you can find, what type of skin ailments you have or want to fix for your grandmother, daughter, baby, son, etc. And internally, how can you make your own gummies, natural gummies? How can you make the tea blends, whether it's PCOS or menstrual issues? So there are different things. We'll be looking at the theory. So we'll be talking to each other. Then we'll be making stuff, men's health, women's health, and natural products. So a lot will be happening. You can just send me an email, drdenisedaily@gmail.com. That's drdenisedaly@gmail.com for more details. And we'll get into that. We have a few more coming up as well in May and June. So lots to learn. So if you're interested, please reach out and we'll add you to the list and start communicating that information.
And I believe that is a good place to leave it. Dr. Daly, thank you so much for joining us for sorry, my producer told me that there's also a workshop coming up that you'd like to discuss as well. Please go ahead.
Yes, that was one of the workshops. We're looking at the natural health for men, natural health for women, and making different skincare products. We also have skincare products for sale. So send me an email with whatever ailment it is, and we can formulate or customize your skincare products for you. If you're a small business, you make natural products, and you want to use the time to market your products, Nasseray R&M in Kingston, we can make those products for you. So if you want to make your oil or your cream, just send us an email, nasserayjamaica@gmail.com. And we do the hard lifting, the heavy lifting. We make the products, you pick it up, or we ship it to you and you use your energy to market and sell those products. So that's how we try to help, using natural products and helping small businesses with private labeling. So reach out and let us know how you'd want to get those products made.
Thank you for that information. That is Dr. Denise Daly. She is a pharmacognosist by trade and one of the most useful people at Nationwide, giving us the useful uses of so many natural remedies. I've learned so much from this program over the few months that we've had it, and it has been such a delight, especially knowing on this Annatto. I really, really feel like I want to attempt some culinary magic with the Annatto plant.
I definitely want to try it, Siobhan. I definitely want to try it.
Good.
But thanks to our super producer, that is the lovely Dana Davey, our technical operator, Andrew the Glen Boogs Anderson, my compatriots and friends in the newsroom, led by the capable Cara Powell, all those in the YouTube chat who stick with us through thick and thin. Thank you so much, Donovan Walker, Kirk Buchanan, Carlene Smith, Arlene Rowe, Cindy Lynch, Mikkel, Janista Johnson, Sharon Forbes. Thank you all this evening. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And we cannot forget Margot Weber, the teacher in the classroom. My name is Sanjay Lewis.
I was looking for Margot's name, you know.
My name is Sanjay Lewis. Wishing for you a wonderful evening.
Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online on April 16 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast the groundbreaking ceremony for the Raintree Commercial Development. Raintree Commercial Complex aligns with UDC's goal of developing urban spaces.